The roar from the Scotland supporters. Poland is not lost. The Polish national anthem, well received as well by what I have to say is a fabulous away support. Obviously, there are quite a few Poles live in Scotland, and it's perhaps the majority of those who have come along to Hampden for the game this evening, but those, I'm sure, amongst their number will have travelled from Eastern Europe for this one. And the beginning of a new tournament normally at this point is when optimistic levels are going through the roof. Not so much on this occasion, perhaps for both sides really. Both Scotland and Poland flattered to deceive at the European Championship finals in the summer, both picking up just a single point from their respective 3 games. You would have to say the Poland group was particularly difficult though, given it had France, the Netherlands and Austria all in there. It was the 3-1 defeat by the Austrians that really did for the Poles. They were out after 2 games. Scotland at least had something to play for by virtue of their draw with Switzerland. But the insipid performance against Hungary was punished by that Chobot goal late on stoppage time that saw them exit yet again from a major tournament. Scotland and Poland ready to go head to head for the 12th times. The Poles have won 3 to Scotland's 2. The other 6 were drawn, including the last twice they met competitively in the qualifying campaign to reach Euro 2016. It was 2-2 in Warsaw. Scotland led that one 2-1 before a goal from Arkadiusz Milik saved a point for the Poles, and it was even later when Robert Lewandowski's second of the evening denied Scotland a victory in the penultimate game of the group. That, coupled with the Republic of Ireland's victory over Germany that night, saw Scotland's campaign and bid to reach the finals in France end with a game still to play. The referee down there, the Swede, 35-year-old Glenn Nyberg, he's in the middle. He upset both Bayern Munich and Arsenal for his handling of their Champions League quarter-final last season. He took charge of 3 matches at Euro 24, including Romania, Ukraine and Albania. Spain, Dutchman Dennis Higler's the VAR tonight. Sweden has so far refused to adopt the video assistant for their club football. Right then, what has this campaign got in store for Scotland? They're in amongst the big boys now in the UEFA Nations League. Having been promoted from League B, it's all about League A. Repercussions for this game and the rest could be felt into next year and the World Cup qualifiers. But for tonight, it is Poland at home, and arguably the easiest game on paper as Kenny McLean kicks off. Scotland in the navy blue with white and yellow flashes, Poland all in red, and Scotland going left to right, attacking the east end of the stadium. Poland towards Mount Florida as it bounces off the knee of John McGinn down on this near side and out for a throw-in. Scotland coming into this Nations League campaign with a pretty good record in this tournament. It's been pretty kind to them, save for the odd blip. When you think back to Dublin, the last time this tournament was played in particular, they've played 16, they've won 10, lost just 4 in their Nations League campaigns in the past, as they look to make an impression here. And Kenny McLean's onto it, rolling it out to that left-hand side for Robertson. It does look as though Scotland have started with the back 4 that we were talking about with Hanley and McKenna. The centre points of that, Ralston right, Robertson left. Be interesting to see just how much of an attacking threat Robertson can be without his pal Kieran Tierney in beside him. In the back 3/5 as it's rolled back to McKenna now of Las Palmas in Spain, and he squares it to Grant Hanley. And you would imagine, Leanne, important for Scotland to get an early feel of the ball, try and dust off the cobwebs.
Yeah, absolutely. You just want to get a foothold in the game. So far it's looked good. I think every player.
This is a good run by McTominay, fed to him by Dykes. McTominay across the face of goal, and there's nobody in dark blue to get onto the end of it, and Martin Bulka, the Polish goalkeeper, let it go across his bows, and it's picked up over on this near side by Zalewski, and then the challenge goes in and out for a Poland throw-in. That was quite encouraging down that far side.
It was a great bit of link-up play from Lyndon Dykes. The only problem was when the ball was slipped through to McTominay, who'd made a great run down the left, it was just John McGinn that was left in the box. Obviously Dykes had laid it off, so when the ball did get flashed in, it was only John that was there. He couldn't have made up the yards to get on the end of it, but a very positive start from Scotland. You can hear it's already lifted the crowd.
70th cap this evening for John McGinn. Andy Robertson up to 75, made his debut for Scotland a decade ago, more than that now, against Poland in a friendly in Warsaw, which Scotland won 1-0 thanks to a goal from Scott Brown. And that came just months before those European Championship qualifying games between them. At least the first one was back in the National Stadium in Warsaw, where Scotland will finish this group section. See what place they're in at that point. Here is Jakub Kiwior of Arsenal collecting for Poland, looking for a early feel of the ball themselves. Low ball down the left-hand side for Zalewski of Roma. Couldn't get away from Gilmour, having got away from Ralston, and Gilmour rolls it back along the grass to McLean, who might actually find himself in that position quite a lot tonight, because Scotland don't play with the two centre-backs very often. As McLean drives in the midfield, he goes down. The referee reckons he was fouled there by Piontek, and that will be a free kick to Scotland midway inside their own half. But he will have, Leanne, an important role to play to try and support Hanley and McKenna.
Yeah, absolutely. He's dropped in there just to link the game. I actually thought he was ever so lucky there, because I don't think there was too much in the challenge, certainly, but the referee's given it in the favour of Kenny McLean. But look, McLean in there, Gilmour certainly is a natural too. When you see it's a 4-2-3-1, both in and out of possession, but both midfielders and the two deeper ones are going to need to, as you say, graft to link the game both defensively and then get to the opposite end of the pitch to support underneath it.
Well won back by Bednarek of Southampton, back in the top flight, of course. No longer as Stuart Armstrong or Che Adams as teammates though. Scotland international, Stuart Armstrong not in the squad, neither is Adams. Armstrong has just completed his move there to Vancouver Whitecaps, and he will play with Ryan Gauld, who's among the Scotland subs, as Poland pick up a free kick just left of the centre circle with Zalewski brought down. And there's a little bit of transition for Poland when you consider the peers of Robert Lewandowski down the years. Been plenty of them: Piszczek, Blaszczykowski, Glik, Pikowiak, all long gone from the national team. As they pick up just outside their own box, Peter Zielinski. Ball forwards cut out, it breaks back Poland's way. The pass forward bounces back off Kenny McLean, and eventually it's going to ricochet back through to Bolka, the goalkeeper. All 6'6" of him playing this evening, plays his club football for Nice, and it's been turned back there into the own box to Bolka again. He'll be coming up against Rangers in the Europa League later in the campaign. It's a dink ball onto the chest of Lewandowski. He's come very deep to get onto it, just moving it back the way there to Davidovic. Played up towards halfway, when it's headed forward by Gilmour into the Poland half. The ref blows his whistle and Scotland have a free kick. Scrappy few minutes here, 5 in, 0-0.
Yeah, I think it was just for offside as the ball was flipped into Piontek, I think it was, but yeah, the linesman raising his flag. It's not been a bad start from Scotland. Obviously they had that cross in just on a couple of minutes into the game. They're all managing to get a touch of the ball, which is really important early doors.
Really celebrated topping that League B section. It was going to guarantee them a playoff place for the European Championship, though they didn't need it. Unfortunately, unless they finish top of this section, there'll be no guaranteed playoff for the World Cup finals in America. Canada and Mexico coming up in a couple of years' time. Have to win your group for that to happen, and finish outside the top 2 of qualifying next year, and that could potentially be a route to the playoffs, which is perhaps what you want. League B would be a good place to be, or League C potentially to get into the playoff. By that, Scotland have had their prize already from the Nations League. It'll be tough to get another one out of this one as Robertson clears his lines. It's Poland picking up wide on the right hand side with Szymanski, rolled back onto the halfway line, picked up by Davidovic, who slips it to his left for Kiwior, into the right for Bednarek. He's taking it forward at walking pace into the Scotland half, just slips it in field, and it will be turned by Zielinski out to this left hand side for Zalewski. Skips away from McGinn, he's at the edge of the box, decides to shoot, and Gunn just flops down onto it. Holds on, the Scotland goalkeeper, who is earning his 14th cap 18 months after his debut here at the start of European Championship qualifying last time around. Leanne, Crichton.
Yeah, it's an early chance, isn't it, for Poland? Their first chance really to go and get a shot off, albeit hasn't really come to much. But I like the structure from Scotland so far underneath the ball. Good numbers, midfield too, taking up good areas. So far they seem to be dealing. We discussed at the start of the programme with the two up top how that would look for the central defenders of Scotland. It looks okay just now. They don't look outnumbered. Poland don't look to me like they're overly aggressive with that too. Lewandowski, as you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, dropping quite deep to link the game as well. So Poland still probably looking to find their rhythm as well.
Yeah, I think as Scotland fans you were kind of looking at this group and hoping that Lewandowski, Modric and Ronaldo would all have gone by this point. All of them remain with their national teams. Obviously fancy a go at Scotland in this Nations League campaign, albeit Ronaldo had a very disappointing European Championship, but still clearly the talisman for Roberto Martinez's side. They are taking on Croatia and Lisbon tonight. I'll keep you up to date with that. Poland have won it back in the midfield. Lewandowski just shifting it forward. Oh, it's gone in! That's from about 30 yards. How on earth has Angus Gunn been beaten there? Szymanski, I think it was, picks it up and smacks it in off the right hand post, and Scotland's Nations League campaign has got off to the worst possible start. 8 minutes in, Scotland 0, Poland 1. Should the goalkeeper have got to that though?
I don't know, it's a skinny surface and it's an incredible hit. It really was a brilliant hit in off the post, so we need to see the replay, but it comes from a wee pass from Kenny McLean. He's trying to be cute, just nipping it into Billy Gilmour. Billy Gilmour was looking for a foul. I didn't think it was a foul myself, and from there it was Lewandowski who picked it up, fed it in, and the ground just opens up. He's able to stride 10 yards forward with the ball with nobody near him. It is a long way out when he hits it, I have to say that. We'll get a better look at it here just from the replay behind the goal, but shifts it onto his left. Nobody goes to commit him. It's a really good hit for me.
McKenna needs to go to the ball. Yeah, he's ball watching. I'm talking about the structure underneath it, but when there's no pressure on the ball and you're the closest player, you need to go. You need to at least narrow the distance between the ball and the player. In the strike, yes, Angus Gunn probably is going to look back at it and think he could have done better, but they've almost just used McKenna as an angle to get beyond him, and that's why then it's come off the post. But a really poor start from Scotland, as you say, Liam.
It is a nightmare start for Scotland. Gilmour looking to spread it out to Robertson in control, so Poland lead at Hampden. It is there, supporters clad in red and white off to our left that are making the noise as Gilmour slips it to Miller and up onto the line for Robertson. Back to Kenny McLean. Willie Miller's watching this one with us as well. Let's get Willie's take on that goal. Anything Gunn could have done, anything McKenna could have done, Willie?
I think McKenna could close the space down a little bit. He has a fantastic strike though with the left foot from Szymanski, and I think Angus Gunn is pretty close to it. I'm not too sure if he got a fingertip on it or not. It's in off the inside of the post. Yeah, you could point out that perhaps he could have done better, but for me I think it's the quality of the strike and perhaps the defenders, in particular McKenna, not closing the attacker down.
Fourth international goal for Sebastian Szymanski of Fenerbahce in Turkey. He made 2 appearances in Germany against the Dutch and the French as he looks to chisel his way into the starting 11 on a regular basis. That kind of goal is going to help his cause. 10 in, and it's the age-old problem for Scotland. Another goal potentially could have been avoided with better defending, and Scotland find themselves behind. Portugal find themselves ahead against Croatia. Diogo Dalot of Manchester United has scored the goal. Portugal 1, Croatia 0 in the Estadio da Luz in Lisbon. So early blows for both the Croats and Scotland here under the lights at Hampden. Darkness beginning to fall on Glasgow as McKenna slips it to his left for Kenny McLean, who gave the ball away actually in the turned out to be the build up to the goal, as Ralston goes back to Hanley, who goes back to Gunn. And when you see the replays of the goal, perhaps any immediate criticism of Angus Gunn could be diluted somewhat. It was a fabulous hit from Szymanski. Here comes Scotland down the left. Robertson's long floated ball in, and the goalkeeper comes, doesn't get there. Dykes trying to win it back. The ref's giving a free kick, I think. And he feels Dykes had fouled the goalkeeper. At least he's coming to try and sort something out, and it's in the gloves of Martin Bulka, and he just plays it short to his right there for Bernarek. So it's yet another goal conceded in this dreadful run Scotland are on. This 1 win in 12 without a competitive clean sheet since the game in Larnaca a year ago. That is the 29th goal they've conceded in this current run of 12 and a bit games.
Yeah, and to think when we started the Euro qualifying, that was a big key strength of ours, was defensively we looked really solid in keeping clean sheets. It seems, at this minute in time, certainly for the last period of time, whenever we do give away possession, we're punished. The thing is, when you're playing against top opposition, and most international teams are now, when you do give the ball away cheaply, or when you aren't structurally sound, they will capitalise.
John Tex on to it, midway inside the Scotland half. McGinn wrestles it back off him, up to the edge of the centre circle, flashes it with the left to Robertson on the left hand side, drives across halfway, up to the midway point of the half now. He's got support from Christie. He's managed to keep it in, he's done well there, but he can only poke it straight to the feet of Jan Bednarek, who smashes it into the north stand on the far side, and Scotland will have a throw in midway inside Polish territory.
A couple of times Andy Robertson has just played the ball out the pitch, and he almost did it again to Ryan Christie. It's just a breakdown.
He's just done it there, a big switch straight out over on the near side.
But it's that straight pass going up the byline, and I'm not sure Christie knows whether to stick or twist with Andy Robertson. Is he getting in his way and Andy Robertson's going to go solo, or is he looking to link the game, which tells you it looks like a pattern of play that Scotland have not really worked on too much, because it's almost like they're making it up when they get into that final third. They just need to tidy that up a little bit.
Good header by Hanley to beat Lewandowski in the jump. It's now with McLean, the midfield. Christie with the flick. Now at the feet of McTominay at the edge of the Poland box. He's gone down. The ref sees that as a free kick. He was tripped. Slight complaint there to the referee by Urbanski of Bologna, but it will be a free kick to Scotland, and this is just right hand side of the D at the edge of the Polish box. Stephen, a big opportunity this.
Yeah, it was a lovely wee flick round the corner from Christie, taken on by McTominay, driving at the Polish defence. He was clipped, and this is a huge opportunity. I think John McGinn standing over it, so is Andy Robertson. I think Andy Robertson will probably hit it, but it's only 20 yards out. The angle's slightly against him, but you've got to be taking the shot on here.
He's the only candidate at the moment, is Robertson. Approaching the 14-minute mark, Scotland trailing by a goal to nil. If you're just joining us here at the National Stadium, Robertson stands over a Scotland free kick just outside the Poland box, right of centre. Goalkeeper Bulka is sorting out his wall, which is a four-man wall, with another one just a foot or so away to the left as Robertson looks at this, eyeing up the goal. Huge goalkeeper Bulka. Robertson then left-footed ball to the edge of the box. McTominay side foot towards goal, and it's blocked, and it's a complete utter waste.
Just hit it, you're 20 yards out. I mean, I think we try and overthink sometimes about trying to be clever with set plays, and obviously they were looking for something that was worked on in the training ground there, but the Polish defender reads it, it's instantly blocked and cleared. When you're that close to go, I would never know why you wouldn't just have a strike.
Especially with the amount of bodies in front of you. You might not execute it perfectly, but I just think there's always a chance it's going to end up back in the mix. If it doesn't hit the target, you've got a second bite at it. But you're right, Tom, we're just overcomplicating it. Opportunity missed.
McGinn rolls it out to Robertson on the left, infield to McLean. Short ball there from the Norwich City vice-captain, the Norwich club captain behind him, Grant Hanley. Hasn't seen much football this season. Here's McTominay on the left-hand side. Be hoping to see plenty in the blue of Napoli nowadays, alongside Billy Gilmore, who's a club mate of his now as well, as Christie reverses into the box. McTominay chases, Bednarek slides in, gets it away, Robertson crosses in, it's away, and it's a foul by Lyndon Dykes there on the defender on the 6-yard line, as he brings Davidovic to the ground, and that will be a free kick to Poland on just about their 6-yard line there. Scotland 0, Poland 1. And as I say, Portugal have started well. They are the favourites, of course, for this group, and was working on them earlier on. The Portuguese ahead of that game on Sunday. That is going to be a frightening task. If you think this is a tall order tonight, especially now Scotland are behind and up against the Portuguese in Lisbon, that's going to be an altogether more difficult challenge. They're going to try and dig themselves out of a hole here as Poland pick up down the right hand side. It's the wing back Frankowski on it just now. He's shifted in field there to the goal scorer Szymanski, and then the man down there, Szymanski, picks up the loose ball. It's switched out to the left hand side of the penalty area for Zalewski, loses out to Ralston, and now it's with McGinn who's tripped, and that will be a Scotland free kick just outside their own box.
Yeah, it's better play, isn't it, from Poland, looking to try and get in behind, just stretch the Scotland backline, something that they've probably not been able to do going across the pitch. But Anthony Ralston deals it really well, and John McGinn just uses his game intelligence, gets his body in front, draws the foul, and just slows things down. But you think Scotland at this point probably goes against the grain. They would have come into this game as positive as we have, looking to start the game in the front foot. Then the what if is if you go behind, how do you react, how do you look to get back in the game? And certainly they've looked to do that. There's been a couple of patterns of play, more positive higher up the pitch as well. but you're just looking for just that little bit more, just more aggressive, I think, and going from A to B.
It's not really been much to enjoy over the course of the last 12 months with Scotland, save for actually qualifying for the tournament itself when they weren't playing last October. The Scotland fans were in Lille to enjoy that city ahead of the friendly against the French last October, when news came through that Spain had beaten Norway in Oslo to send Scotland officially to Germany. It was that hour to 70 minutes against the Dutch in Amsterdam. That's about it really, though. You know, Scotland played very well for big spells. Even Ronald Koeman was surprised with the nature of what turned out to be a 4-0 win as McTominay slams into a challenge in unorthodox fashion in the midfield, and Poland have a free kick just outside the centre circle in their own half. They lead 1-0 here in Glasgow.
Yeah, 17 minutes in, and the goal apart, there's been very little between the two sides. I think just how sloppy the goal was in terms of the giveaway in the middle of the pitch, and then obviously not defending the situation well enough once Zelensky started bearing down on goal. It's been a major disappointment. We have asked one or two questions, and it's an attacking sense, but I wouldn't say at this minute in time Poland are battering us or are looking by far the better team. So at 1-0, just stick with it. The crowd haven't turned, they're still behind the players, and it's about trying to just stick to the game plan just now. At 1-0, you're never out of a game.
Poland in possession, left hand side of their own penalty area, and taking their time over it. The player that McTominay wiped out there was the goal scorer, Szymanski. And it is the Poles on the ball here. It's not forward to Lewandowski, and it's not the best touch in the world. Scotland get it back, but only briefly. Gilmour's been fouled. Free kick Scotland. It's to the right of the centre circle on this near side. You can hear John McGinn barking away out in the pitch there. Not sure who he's having a go at.
I think just to the referee, Liam, the fact that the Poles just kicked the ball away, just a bit of time wasting. I think he's just trying to get in the ear of the referee just to make sure it doesn't happen, especially when you're chasing the game fine when it's only 19 minutes in, but that sort of time wasting certainly frustrates you as a player as time goes on and you're looking to get a goal back.
It's with Hanley, rolls it out to Ralston on this near side, takes a touch, knocks it down the line for McGinn on the halfway line, holds off his man, looks for the big switch here, Begg up and under off to that far side for Christie, who does win the header, heads it back towards Robertson. It wasn't like he was being unchallenged though, and he's given away the free kick, the Scotland captain over there, bringing Szymanski crashing to the ground. Free kick Poland, right of the centre circle. Stevie Clark down there with his hands behind his back, looking out at the pitch. It's his opposite number, Michal Probiers, who is the happier, stepped up during the last qualifying campaign. Poland actually only won 3 of their Euro 2024 qualifiers, and they were beaten away from home by the group winners Albania and by the minnows Moldova, as McGinn sweeps it forward for Scotland to the left of the box. Christie into McTominay, just got stuck under his boot there, and under pressure he puts it high and wide, left hand side of the goal frame. 20 in, Scotland 0, Poland 1.
It comes from a brilliant reverse pass from Billy Gilmour into John McGinn, who's in acres of space. He plays it out to the left again. Christie in miles of space, probably could have driven with it, sees the pass first time into McTominay, who'd made a good run, but he's off balance just as he hits it. Good pressure from actually the Polish defender, putting him under P, but it was actually really good football from Scotland.
It's almost a 3v2. Scotland are in, brilliant play, really effective football, simple stuff. It's everything that you want in terms of getting from A to B, as I was suggesting a minute or so ago. McTominay just looks to take it on himself. Better though.
It took a while to take the goal kick there, and it was the defender Davidovic who did do so rather than the keeper. Shifted out to the far side, and Bednarek's under pressure, but they've seem to have played themselves out of trouble pretty well there. Davidovic finds Kivior on this near side, and he strides up to halfway. His ball into the midfield's not great, but it's actually worked out okay for Poland. It breaks to Szymanski, given away though, and now it's Christie out to the left for Robertson, stretching his legs as a look up at the box to see what's in there. 2 arriving, 3 now. He's overhit the cross though, and it's headed half away, and it's going to be picked up here by Urbanski. He shifts it out to this near side for Zalewski, and they've given it away in a dreadful area. Poland, it's Ralston to Gilmour, pops it back midway inside the Polish half for McLean to McTominay at the edge of the box. McGinn goes down, fouled, says the Swedish referee. It's another careless free kick given away by Poland. Urbanski this time on his opposite number 7, John McGinn, and it's going to be a Scotland free kick just about the level with the edge of the D of the Polish box and maybe a couple of yards away from the right angle of the area.
Yeah, it's a good area. Again, smart play from John McGinn. Uses his body so well, draws fouls more often than not. If he doesn't have an end product, you'd like to think Scotland would have a better opportunity here and certainly do more with it than they did with the previous one.
Yeah, you could forgive them passing to the edge of the box when it's at this angle, but previously the goal was right in front of him, 20 yards out. Robertson elected to pass it to McTominay instead. What can he conjure up here? We know the quality that Robertson has. Poland lead 1-0. We played bang on a quarter of the match. Robertson swings into a good one, headed towards goal by McTominay, and he's got it over and into the net. Then Scott McTominay celebrates yet again. He does it for his country. Nodded it towards goal. He came ghosting in at the back post, and he has forced it past Polka to get Scotland's Nations League campaign up and running officially. It is a 10th international goal for Scott McTominay, and it's Scotland 1, Poland 1.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. It's all in the delivery from Andy Robertson. The left foot, we talk about whether the previous one you passed the edge of the box, this time he whips it with the left foot. The runners start in, Scotland bodies check out. McTominay, it's a great run at the back here, as you say, Liam. He goes in, he gets the first contact. I actually think he should score the first time. I'm not sure exactly which body part it comes off, to be fair, on the way down. Might get
as long as it's not
angle.
his hand.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Leanne, you're spot on. It's all about the quality of that ball in from Andy Robertson. It's superb, and the timing of the run from Scott McTominay. It's going. The referee's pointing at as if it's going to go to VAR here. Goal given, I think.
Goal given.
But the timing of the run from Scott McTominay to stay onside and loop himself round the back.
No, I don't think the goal's been given. I think it's been disallowed.
Oh, what? Handball? You've got to be kidding me.
Oh, the Scotland players are totally confused as well. It looks as though it's been ruled out, and Poland have got a free kick inside their own penalty area. Drama here, and not for the first time Scott McTominay's been denied an international goal. This whole slump started when VAR intervened and ruled out his goal in Seville last October. That one's been ruled out too.
When the ball comes in, it did look as though it maybe struck him on the arm, but his arm is down by his side. Is it because it's led to a goal?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
It has. It struck his hand in
when
the
you
way
see
down.
the angle there, Leanne,
yeah, and albeit his arms can in close to his body, his hands, his arms
it's not
are
deliberate
tucked in.
at all.
No, not at all. But it is the fact that it's led to the goal.
Well, the angle from behind the goal was more conclusive than the one that we saw. But when you did say which body part has it come off, you did hope it wasn't the hand, and it's just the kind of lower arm, isn't it, that it's bounced off of. It's actually come off the Polish
defender. It's really
defender
unlucky
first.
because he's not meant it at all. Nobody's really spotted it. In fairness, the VAR official was obviously very, very quick to point out to the referee that it had hit his hand. Had that been elsewhere on the pitch, I don't think it would have been given as a handball, because it's led to a goal or a goal scoring opportunity. Therefore, I think the referee's got to take it back. Really unlucky from Scotland.
Yeah, he didn't even come over and have a non-field
No, he didn't
review,
have a
did he? He was the Dutch VAR tonight, Swedish on-field officials. But the long and the short of it is Scott McTominay's goal doesn't stand, and he's got to wait some more for his 10th international goal as he tries to get into double figures, having got his 9th against the Swiss in Cologne in the summer. But that would have got Hampden firing. You could hear the noise when it hit the net. But now there's a hush descended amongst the Scotland supporters in the wake of that.
Without a doubt it would have got the fans firing, but you could see the outpour of emotion from the players as well. One of relief to get their noses back level. But I think the positive for me is actually a couple of free kicks that we've drawn in the edge of the box as well.
Yeah, look at this brilliant run from Robertson down the left, charging up to about level with the 18-yard line, and he plays it off the defender, and it goes out to play for a throw into Scotland over on the far side. It's off Frankowski. He did well. He battled away from Szymanski, got the ball back from McLeod, did Robertson, and just drove down that left-hand side.
I think he was looking for the foul. The referee played advantage though, but it was good play from Andy Robertson. A couple of nice neat 1-2s, and then he was clipped, but the referee, I think, just let it go.
He's been making that point to the referee as Robertson has to settle for a throw which they've taken, and ultimately it's come off a Scotland boot and out for a Poland throw. And the attacking moment comes and goes, and it remains here at Hampden after all of that. Scotland 0, Poland 1. 26.
Out with the goal, Leanne. I mean, I would have to say that we've looked the more threatening of the two teams.
Yeah, no, I would agree. There's certainly not been too much cause for concern. I think Scotland have looked to move it, looked to control it. As I say, midfield looked really comfortable. Poland haven't threatened in behind, and I think that comes from the fact that Scotland are being more aggressive with their press as well. At points, Scott McTominay's jumping, and it almost looks like that 4-2-4, because McTominay jumps for midfield. You've got McGinn and then Christie joining Dykes up top. So there is an intent to win the ball higher up the pitch, which I like.
Maybe get Willie Miller's take on how this game's sitting at the moment, just when he's ready and prepared. Willie, are with me?
No, I think it's pretty positive for Scotland. A lot of energy in the game, the high press. Poland are not dealing with it. They're not being able to get any time in the ball and build it up. They've had very few forays up front, and really Scotland have dominated the game. Very unlucky with the goal. The delivery, absolutely perfect delivery. McTominay's run was superb. He didn't meet the ball properly. It was a rather scrappy finish to it, but there's no doubt it did come off his hand, so that's why it was not allowed. But good performance, full of energy, good intent. Forward passing as well. Andy Robertson really prominent down that left hand side as well. So it's all positive apart from the scoreline, unfortunately.
Yeah. Poland 1-0 up. The McTominay goal that didn't stand there, very similar, you might remember, to the one he scored against Israel late on. It was a huge victory at the time in World Cup qualifying as John McGuinness fouled down on this near side. That will be a free kick, still at 6 or 7 yards inside his own half, in front of the Scotland manager, who watches on down there. And he'll be just as frustrated as the probably 43,000 Scotland fans who are here tonight were, and the Swedish referee indicated that it was a hand used by McTominay as it dropped back. The thing is, if he catches it as he wanted to catch it on the head and it goes in, then there's none of that debate, and it's 1-1.
Which is what he should have done, Liam. Willie's right, he gets it wrong because he's got enough time and space, I think, and the quality is all in the delivery. He needs to go and meet it flush with the head, and it's in the back of the net.
Great turn by McGinn on the near side, and he's dug out the pass in the midfield for McLeod, who takes it on. Central area, rolls it to the left, just shifting it to Christie. Robertson in the overlap. Christie at the edge of the box, shoots for goal. It's wide of the right hand post. He's claiming it took a touch for a corner, and nobody else is backing him up, and the referee says goal kick to Poland. We played 29.5, Scotland 0, Poland 1.
John McGinn did really well. He's under severe pressure every time he receives the ball. I felt as though Christie, he was wanting, when he received the ball, to cut in and get onto his right foot and get that shot away, but he did have the overlap from Robertson, which I think if he'd seen it out the corner of his eye would have been a better option, but he's got every right to take it on and have a shot. Didn't just get enough curl on it, got it too flat.
The other game in Nations League A Group 1, still Portugal leading Croatia 1-0 thanks to that Diogo Dalot early strike in Lisbon. Portugal ahead, Poland ahead here at Hampden, and it's going to be a goal kick here for the visitors. Marcin Bulka is not taking any of these. He's leaving them all to Verona's Pavel Davidovic, who's in the squad for the last 2 European Championships. Former teammate of Josh Doig, who's listed among the Scotland subs. We're both at Verona together. Doig now at Sassuolo in the second tier in Italy. As Poland come forward, fired into Lewandowski, turns and faces the Scotland goal in a little disguised ball out to this near side, cut out by Ralston. Lewandowski was looking for Zalewski down here. Dykes goes down up the other end from a long ball. It's McTominay now taking it on, driving forward. Scott McTominay steps away from Davidovic, but he gets a little touch onto it to get it away. McLeod to the left for Robertson. The referee stopped play because a Poland player's down.
I think it's for a head knock, but it looked like there was a block on Lyndon Dykes. Just let us see where this head knock comes from. Dykes bashes into, I think it was Davidovic. Maybe he didn't mean it, but he does catch him in the head, so the referee's right to stop the game.
I think he's actually given a free kick to Poland, though, Tom. He's got to give the exact same, because it's almost like for like. It's retaliation, I think, from Lyndon Dykes, because he's not been given the first foul. He plays an advantage with McTominay, but McTominay's got no support ahead of him, so it's not an advantage.
Needs to be careful there, Dykes.
Yeah,
that could have been viewed a wee bit differently. I think he was just about cute enough with it, but yeah, it's a foul.
Missed the European Championship. Lyndon Dykes was in a moon boot for the period after the injury sustained at Lesser Hampden, just beside the big stadium. But yeah, there was an altercation just before that. Dykes got back to his feet and then shoulder charged into Davidovic. He knows exactly what he's doing there, and you've got to be so careful nowadays. When you go around endangering your opponent, you're off. Simple as that. He's out to play for a Poland throw-in over on that right hand side, level with the penalty spot. 32 and a half on the clock. Under the lights here at Hampden, the pitch looking great, brilliant conditions for the game, barely a breath of wind. Certainly inside this big bowl of a stadium. Poland have it on this near side with Kiwior, and shifting it back to Davidovic, then into the midfield it goes. Urbanski's on the turn and just played to Zielinski. He's a fabulous player. Piotr Zielinski made his move to Internazionale in the summer, having spent 8 years at Napoli. He's part of that celebrated Napoli team that won their first Scudetto in such a long time. They've had to the early 90s as Poland come down the right hand side. A ball slipped forward by Frankowski down the right flank, three waiting for the cross in the middle. Battling for it, Scott McKenna over there against the goal scorer Szymanski, and eventually the referee blows, and that's a Scotland free kick to the left of their own box. Scotland 0, Poland 1.
Yeah, he does really well. You can hear the sarcasm in the Tartan Army that are cheering the fact that the referee's given Scotland a foul, because I think that's the feeling around the place in the last few minutes. But good defensive play, just getting your body in between you and the ball and the player, just alleviates that pressure as well. I think Poland have probably grown into it just in the last 5 or so minutes, just taking back a wee bit of territory from Scotland as well.
They'll have got a little boost as well by that goal being ruled out too, because that came culminated in been a good spell for Scotland in the game. Dykes this time, the shoulder charge to the ground. The referee gives Scotland a free kick, does he? No, has he? Yes, he has. Difficult to read this referee, and he's pulled the yellow card out, flashed it in the face of Davidovic. Yeah, Scotland midway inside Polish territory.
It's a long ball. I mean, I don't know if there's an awful lot in it. He's just trying to stand his ground. Dykes does well, goes to ground. You'd probably have been raging if it was your team and given the other way, but it's good for Scotland to get the free kick, which again is in a decent enough area. We were looking for a similar delivery and result from the last one. Yeah, they're having a wee go at each other, Dykes and Davidovic.
It was Kiwior that time. Davidovic is the player who's been booked, but it was Kiwior. I think he was booked for dissent. I think he was booked for protesting, because he's upset Lyndon Dykes, who won a free kick, a similar challenge there. As the free kick's taken, Robertson flights it in, and it comes all the way through to Bulka, who holds on. We're in the final 10 of the first half. Scotland 0, Poland 1.
It certainly has been a good physical battle, though, you would need to say, and looking at the Scotland players, I personally think they look really up for it tonight, and there is that there's that line with the emotion where you're hoping that it doesn't spill over and that you get it right, as we've seen with Dykes a minute or so ago. But certainly they're looking to leave everything out on the pitch. We just need a goal to get back level.
Long ball from Lewandowski's headed back calmly to Angus Gunn by Ralston, and it's picked up by Gilmore, sitting in that quarter-back position there. He shifts it to the left for Robertson, goes long with the left foot. Dykes will give chase against Davidovic with the challenge. Sure, that one's a foul, and Davidovic sees it behind for the goal kick.
There's decent enough movement from Lyndon Dykes, offering up the channel run for Andy Robertson. He just kind of floats it in there. It's actually good defending, putting Lyndon Dykes under a lot of pressure. What's your coffee there, Liam?
It's tea, but thanks for your concern.
Okay.
It is Poland who have the ball. Free goal kick again, taken by Davidovic, just shifting it to Zielinski on this near side. Forward to Urbanski. And it's been given away there. McTominay's now inside the box. He's in here, right hand side. McTominay across, saved by the foot of the goalkeeper. And it pops out in Poland's favour on the right hand side. That would have been an absolute gift given away there by Kiwior. and McTominay charged in. The angle was against him in the end. He tried to smash it across the face, and it bounced off the foot there of Bulka and away to safety. There were 2 or 3 Scotland players charging in, but it's the keeper who gets the touch, and it was a crucial one.
It's just the pick out for McTominay. It has to be better, he has to get it right. I think Tony Ralston, it's arriving, that he could have found. But look, for me, the press from Scotland has been absolutely spot on, and what you can see from Poland is they're trying to be a bit braver, and they're still forcing themselves to play out even when it's not on. They're taking those extra touches. Scotland are getting at them. Certainly the midfield support's been brilliant, and the fact that Tony Ralston's a player that I'm identifying inside the box, it's there for the cutback. It's really good from McTominay, just that final part to the puzzle that's been missing.
Christie has it on the far side, midway inside the Poland half to McLean, out to the left hand side for Robertson. Robertson finds McTominay, the left angle of the box. Portugal have gone 2-0 up against Croatia as Robertson swings the ball in. It's all the way through, and it's chested back to the goalkeeper by Nikola Zalewski, and it was Cristiano Ronaldo who scored that second Portugal goal, so they are well on their way to victory in their Nations League opener against Croatia. Meantime, Scotland behind to Poland here have another concern as we tick towards half-time. 38 minutes on the clock. John McGinn is down.
Yeah, there was a challenge just before that last kind of spell of play there where John went into a tackle and won it well, but after it he kind of stayed on the ground for 20 seconds. He doesn't really stay down, does John, unless he's feeling something, and then
he's
he
not looked comfortable, Tom.
He got up gingerly, yeah.
He's kind of...
So he's just stayed down now. I'm hoping it's nothing bad. I think we'll see the challenge here in the replay, Liam, and you can see that after it he just stays down and he's kind of clutching his knee. Let's hope it's nothing serious. Ronaldo, am I right in saying you won't have that in front of you? Is that his 900th goal, Liam?
You've been saying this for weeks and weeks.
Do you know what? I saw it on Instagram.
He just keeps saying it, and at some point it will be.
It'll come real.
You honestly, you live on that website.
I don't. I just say come up in some football thing I follow. Anyway, I'm sure he was at 899. I may be wrong. You can use that on Sunday when you're out in Portugal. That'd be a good wee intro for you. Use it for your intro.
Thanks.
Anyway, John's up, thankfully.
Yeah, it looks as though he's going to be okay to come back on. McGinn. It's Dalot and Ronaldo with the goals for Portugal tonight. Scotland are, as Stephen was saying there on Sunday evening, full coverage on Sports Sound. A couple of Sports Sounds for you on Sunday. Of course, we've got the domestic action that continues on Saturday as usual, and then on Sunday magazine programme in the afternoon, and then in the evening it's Portugal against Scotland. Poland visit Zagreb to take on Croatia in their second match in this group, and the game back on their way. So it's going to be a couple of minutes certainly added on at the end of the first half here. It's a long ball by Poland up the halfway. Hanley wins the header. It's knocked forward to McTominay, gets it under control, looking for Robertson in support. Eventually Robertson gets there, but McTominay turns the other way and rolls it back just left of the centre circle for McKenna. Now it's with McLean, forward to Christie, a little touch away from one man, couldn't get away from the second, but he's fighting for it. Ryan Christie over there wins it back off Frankowski. It's now with McLean. Christie has it back, level with the Poland penalty spot. Jinks on the left, fires it across, cut out by the stretching Bednarek, and it's going to go out for a Scotland throw in about level with the Polish 6-yard line on the far side in front of the North stand. Taken by Christie to McLean, who crosses in, headed away again by Bednarek. Lewandowski jumps, misjudged the bounce of the ball, and he's landed awkwardly as well. The 36-year-old, he thinks he was fouled. He's got his arms outstretched at the referee, looking for a free kick that isn't coming. Christie has it for Scotland, attacking the left angle of the box, gets the cross in. Dykes is there!
Oh,
and he puts it into the side net. What a chance! What a mess for Lyndon Dykes. That was the chance to redress the balance. And after 41 minutes just about, it remains Scotland 0, Poland 1. You were expecting Lyndon Dykes to score there. How he hasn't is unbelievable.
It's an unbelievable chance. The delivery again, phenomenal to the back post. Dykes' movement is perfect. Starts inside, peels off at the back area, double movement. Just looks to get his laces and his knee over the top of the ball. He's got to get back across.
He's got to go across the goalie. I was just about to say that to you. He's got to go back across the goalie. The narrow angle at near post was never the shot to take on. That's where the goalie is. when the ball came across, you're looking and you're going, right, one each, that's a certain goal. He's only 2 yards out and he's managed to put it in the side netting. The delivery in was brilliant. Over the last 4 or 5 minutes, there's been, say, 6 deliveries into the box. They've all been dealt with, but on that occasion his movement got him free.
Here come Poland down the right, up the other end. Robertson with the block, and out it goes for a throw-in down by the corner flag over on the far side. Poland attacking all of a sudden.
The move was that good. I'm already in my head thinking this is getting disallowed for the free kick in Lewandowski in the middle of the pitch because I was certain it was going to hit the back of the net.
You don't get bigger chances than that in international football. That has to be a goal.
Now Andy Robertson's gone down with a problem. He's managed to get back to his feet, maybe just a bit winded there, the captain. I mean, to be fair, there's been a lot of criticism around, some of it's been justified, but Steve Clarke has had the worst luck possible when it comes to injuries to key players. And Poland drive forward, looking for a second before the break. He's unchallenged at the moment, down he goes, penalty!
Yes.
Poland penalty, fouled by Ralston. It's a brilliant break forward by the Poles down this left-hand side. Zalewski drove into the penalty area, and the undercooked Anthony Ralston was caught there as he tried desperately to win it back. No question if it's a foul, no question it's a penalty. It's a Poland penalty. They already lead 1-0, and this could start to unravel pretty quickly here on Glasgow's south side.
When Zalewski picks the ball up, he drives at the Scotland defence, and again nobody comes to engage him. They're almost kind of worried to get out to him because he's travelling at such speed. He looks really dangerous. He busts into the box. Hanley drops off him. It's then up to Ralston, who dangles a leg, kicks the back of his heel. It's 100% a penalty kick, and an absolute disaster right before half-time.
That's terrible timing, absolutely terrible timing. Just when you think Scotland are looking to get themselves back level, Tony Ralston, he's got to get it right, and I do feel for him because he's almost just looked to take that step, but the movement is so quick that
he was lightning. I felt as though Hanley should have come out and tried to engage him
out. Robert Lewandowski is over it. He has scored 83 goals for his country, arguably the greatest ever in Polish football history. It's going to be a right-footed penalty. Lewandowski to put Scotland 2 behind before half-time. Here he goes. Right-footed penalty against Gunn. He scores. The goalkeeper goes the wrong way. And Robert Lewandowski, as he did here in 2015, drives a dagger into the Tartan Army. Into the bottom left corner. Low effort. Gunn went the other way. And Lewandowski scores his 84th international goal. 3 of them have come against Scotland, and it's now Scotland 0, Poland 2. It's all going horribly wrong here.
That's a wonderful penalty, really well taken from Lewandowski. Just the run-up, I always give credit to players that have got the audacity to slow it down, work their feet quickly, but he just executes it right into the bottom corner. Angus Gunn goes the completely opposite direction. And it just shows you how cruel football can be. That opportunity at the opposite end of the pitch for Lyndon Dykes, he has to score.
Yeah, you've got that. You've got the disallowed goal, which wasn't a deliberate handball, incredibly unlucky. But then it's a clear penalty kick. You can't argue with that. And when Lewandowski's standing over it, you pretty much know it's going to be in the back of the net. Out with that, and the goal that they scored early on in the match from the long-range shot, Scotland have been a better team. 2-0 down.
3 minutes of stoppage time, and it's a long way back for Scotland from here. It's looking like 1 win in 13, with Poland away to come on Sunday. It is Portugal rather. Yeah, it's McTominay with the ball over the top of the Poland defence. Christie chasing after it, but it's going to be cleared by Frankowski down the line. And out it goes for a throw-in, which is taken quickly by Robertson. There are plenty around about this shaking the head. Leanne's one of them as Robertson crosses deep into the Poland box, but bobbles away out to safety on this near side, and it will be left by Zalewski, who won the penalty against Ralston up the other end, to let it go out for a throw-in. We are in the first of the 3. In fact, we're just about to go into the second of the 3 minutes that were added on at the end, and that, Leanne, it's just another goal conceded. Okay, this one's a penalty, another possibly avoidable goal, and that's now 30 goals conceded in 12 and a half games of football.
Yeah, it's a poor run, it really is. It's a poor start, one that you don't want on your side, but also psychologically it's a massive blow to Scotland to receive it as well, because they have put an awful lot into this game. Tomo's mentioned it. Scotland for us have been the better side. they've had better chances, some brilliant deliveries into the box, the disallowed goal. Dykes' best chance of the game, he's got to score. To concede at that point in the game just is such a killer for momentum. When you go in at half time, you sit in that changing room, you look round, everybody is so deflated. The flip side, it could have been, you could have been one each, and you go in
and
with your tails up
a
and you're
big
ready
difference
to
to
rock.
1-0, really, isn't it? 2-0, you're going to do really well to come back from 2-0.
And suddenly they take a drop, and even that looks massive order now. But the issue is, and it's a stark fact, and I've spoken about this before, in that Lyndon Dykes misses a huge chance. Scotland are relying on a guy from the English third tier, and you've got a guy scoring that penalty who's arguably the most celebrated player in Polish football history. He plays for Barcelona up the other end. It's pretty bleak when you put it like that. And as good a job as Dykes has done for Scotland, of course, and that's it there in black and white, and that shows you there is a gulf. You can't afford to have a gulf in League A of the Nations League. And as Christie picks up, plays it forward, it's cut out by Zielinski. And over on the far side, the ball up the line for Poland. It's going to come off McLeod, but I think the ref spotted a foul on Christie. So Scotland are going to get one last opportunity to try and get the ball into the Polish box here.
Christie was pretending he got a head knock there. I'm not so sure he did, but anyway, the referee's bought it, and it's a chance for Scotland. What's 20 seconds left? This has got to go into the right in on top of the goalkeeper.
Well,
into
there's
the
not even
spot.
that left. You're looking at the monitor in front of you, and it's about 30 seconds behind, so the time's gone.
Apologies.
It's going to have to happen now for Scotland. Croatia pulled one back against Portugal in Lisbon just before the break. Scotland can be doing with that here, and it comes towards the back post for Hanley. It's headed half away. The ref blows for a Poland free kick, and that's going to be it for the first half. And it's an absolutely dispiriting start to the Nations League campaign here for Scotland and for the Tartan Army. Not sure who the boos are directed at there. I think, to be fair, Scotland have played pretty well. I've seen them play a lot worse in the last 12 months than they have tonight, yet they still find themselves with a mountain to climb at the break here. 2-0 down, and this, remember, arguably the easiest game of the group, and they are in an almighty hole yet again, falling behind in 8 minutes. Szymanski, unchallenged, got to between 25 and 30 yards out, smashed for goal. It was pinpoint accuracies, it bounced off the post into the net, and Poland had the lead at that point. Scotland had been in the game though. They had opportunities. McTominay had one ruled out for a handball in 23 minutes, but that moment on 41, when Lyndon Dykes found himself at the back post, goal gaping in front of him, he smashed it into the side netting. And it wasn't too long after that Poland were making it 2-0. A clumsy challenge from Anthony Ralston. He barely played before the Euros last season. His chances at Celtic have been few and far between, and it's been the same story as far as that's concerned this season for him, albeit Grant Hanley left an almighty amount of space for Zalewski to run into. He was tripped by Ralston, and Robert Lewandowski strolled up and passed the penalty into the bottom left corner to send the thousands of Poland fans into delight right at half-time. Scotland with it all to do already in this campaign. It's Scotland 0, Poland 2 at the break.
Scotland in the UEFA Nations League.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
You're listening to Sports Sound live from the National Stadium. That first half, no shortage at all of major talking points here. Tom English, I can't quite believe that we are behind in this game. You just wonder what Steve Clarke's thinking right now.
No, I can believe it, Kenny. I can believe it.
We've played well, have we not?
Played well. Build-up play good, intent good, shots on target 0. Really good chances created 1, glaring miss 1. Ruthlessness from Poland 100%. There you go. I can believe it. It's a tough school, this. You know, Scotland have had 2 chances against them, both goals. And for all the good work that they've had, and all the intent, and all the the runs down the left from McTominay and from Robertson, and the decent crosses and the Dykes chance, 0 shots on target.
Yeah, listen, you make fair point. I mean, we should have buried that one at the back post, some Lyndon Dykes. I feel there's been a lot of good deliveries into the box. So let's start with the goals of lost, Willie. Your assessment of them?
Well, I mean, I think the first goal was well struck. I don't think Angus Gunn could be blamed for it. I think it was pinpoint. It comes off the surface. Zemansky it was that struck it from outside the box. I think the problem with playing with the two centre backs is you're a centre back down, and I think there was a reluctance on both occasions for either of the two centre backs to come out and close down the midfield player, because it's midfield players that are making the runs and making the strikes and causing the penalties, and they haven't been tracked. And I think Ralston's a little bit unfortunate there. He's just got himself the wrong side, and he's dangled the leg out. There's no doubt that it was a penalty. So defensively, I think the two centre-back situations will be telling Steve Clarke that maybe that's not his strongest formation. And I think when you're playing against two strikers as well, and midfield players are making these run forwards, it's difficult for the two centre-backs to make their mind up whether they go with the striker or whether they then go and confront midfield players. So that's a negative side. The positive side is that's all we're asking for from a Scotland team, I think. In terms of closing the opposition down. Poland put under pressure and they constantly give the ball away to us. The high press is working a treat. Everybody's doing their job properly. The opposition are not getting an opportunity to build it up. But as Tom says, and I've played in games like this at international level, you think you're doing well, you think your performance is great, and somehow you find yourself behind either 1 or 2 goals. In this occasion, 2 goals behind. I think Lyndon Dykes' opportunity at the back post, I think he's too intent and making it look spectacular, because he kind of it's not a scissor kick, but he goes in with his right foot. He's up in the air as well, and he's trying to ball it into the near post when, as Tomo says, it should be going across the face. It should be going towards the far post. A little bit unfortunate with McTominay's goal that was chalked off, but it was a right result. We've had a number of balls flashed across the face. I know Tom's saying about the strikes and goal, but we've looked dangerous when we've went forward. We've played some nice, attractive football. For me, if they'd have played that way at the Euros, it would have turned out much better for them, with that energy, with that intent, with that front foot football, closing the opposition down, winning it early. But we do have a problem in scoring goals. So we've known that for a long time, and this is a problem tonight as well. And I'm with you, Kenny. Well, I know why we're 2-0 down, because they're ruthless. When they get the opportunity, they take it. We don't. But at the same time, for me, it's a good performance. It's well structured. It's well organised. Everybody knows what they're doing. It's a high tempo. But you're 2-0 down at half time, so it must be gut wrenching for them. In the dressing room, and for the manager as well, and trying to turn this round now is going to be difficult, but they've got to come out in the second half and try in some way to keep the belief, keep the same shape, the same intent, the same high press. But then again, if you keep doing that, then you're leaving it pretty spare at the back, and I do still think, and I says before the game, I think it'll be a difficult night for the two centre backs, because they're losing that third centre back. And with the midfield players, the way Poland are playing, running past our midfield players, because they've got a responsibility and they've relinquished that responsibility, and the central defenders have got a decision to make, and their decision to come out and try to close them down hasn't been good enough.
Yeah, I wrote down, Willie mentioned it there again, Tom. I was asking Willie who he was looking for before this game. He was talking about energy, and that was certainly missing for large parts in Germany. I feel the energy's been very good tonight. Andy Robertson looks a real threat down the left-hand side. I had actually written down, just moments before giving away the penalty, I'd written down that from what we saw from Ralston out in Germany, tonight I thought he looked quite confident, quite composed, and it wasn't a horrendous challenge. It was careless, wasn't it? And I really said it was definitely a penalty.
Definitely a penalty. I thought he was playing well. Kenny, I agree with you. I thought he was playing well. I thought he was defending well. He offered something in going forward as well, and he just got himself in a very bad position, really bad position. Made a rash tackle. And it happens very quickly, doesn't it? Just like that. It happens at this level. It happens in the blink of an eye. He sticks out his leg. down goes the pole, in goes the goal.
Yeah, it's ruthless, isn't it, Tomo? They have been far better, Scotland, in the first half. It's hard to think anything that's been a failure in there tonight. A lot of energy, but here we are, 2 goals down, and the guys have touched on it there. They're very ruthless up top, the Poles, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's positives to take from the performance. I think the energy levels, yeah, you're right about that. The press has looked good. I think we've unsettled Poland defensively. I think we have got into good areas, but as Tom mentioned with his very first sentence, 0 shots on target, and that is a concern. If you look at the Dykes chance in isolation, he's got to hit the target. We're very unlucky, I think, with the McTominay goal. It's disallowed, but the difference is, and this is the top level, this isn't even the top level Poland, but it's a high level of international football. And when they've had the 2 chances, the only 2 chances that have been presented to them, they've been taken, and taken convincingly. I think we can defend both situations better. That would be the one downside, I think, from the game so far. But I think when you go into the changing room and you're 2-0 down at half time, sometimes you can go in and you say to yourself, right, we've not been good enough there, blah blah blah. You start to think negatively, right, we need to turn this around. I don't think Scotland have done an awful lot wrong to be 2-0 down, and that's the kind of thing that's going to be grinding away at them. But as Tom said, it's a hard school, and that is international football. And as Steve Clarke spoke about, it's about learning from mistakes. Well, there's another couple of mistakes, and looks like we're going to get off to a poor start in this Nations League tournament. So moving forward, we're only going to be playing against better opposition, and it's only going to get even more difficult when we face Croatia and when we face Portugal. So it's disappointing. I'm really disappointed for the players out there, because they have given their all to that game, but ultimately this is the level we're at, and as much as you can see, we've enjoyed a lot of possession and looked good at times. We're 2-0 down.
Yeah, the kind of really sobering thing is that Scotland did put a lot of good stuff into the game. The energy levels were good. There's some decent performances out there. They had the lion's share of the possession, but they're 2-0 down. You know what I mean? So when you're playing reasonably well and you come in and you're 2 goals behind, where do you go from there? I mean, it's grim. They just got to keep going, and I don't know if he shakes things up now. Is it the fact that they're 2-0 down? Does he now throw on a goal, a Conway, or does he stick with? I don't know. I don't know what he does now, Leanne. I don't know what's a gamble now.
Well, I suppose it depends where players are at physically. I don't think you need to panic just now, because ultimately it doesn't change. We speak about it all the time. 2-0 is a horrible scoreline, even if you're winning 2-0, because the next goal is vitally important. So if Scotland can
rather have it than not have it,
100% you would. But I mean, the reality for Poland is that if they go and concede the next goal, they go from being in a really comfortable position to probably being in the ropes for a period of time anyway, because Scotland then rally. They do have an opportunity to then make changes. So the message in the dressing room will be clear. Can you go and get the next goal? Can you go and get that goal before Poland maybe create another opportunity? But I actually don't think Poland have really created, and that's where it's so hard. And it is international football at the highest level, but the reality is it's come from 2 individual errors. It's come from Scotland. We had a misplaced pass in the middle of the pitch with Kenny McLeod looking for Billy Gilmour. Gets turned over, which then leads to the first goal, which I think Angus Gunn's got to do a lot better. I've looked at it back again. He needs to work his feet, he needs to get across, and it's a number of times we've spoken about Angus Gunn. Similar types of goals now. They're fair racking up. If you're a goalkeeper that's sitting in a second or third spot just now, you're possibly looking to Steve Clarke and thinking, how many lives has this guy got? When am I going to get an opportunity to start a new campaign? And it looks like he's going to be the number one. And then it comes with Tony Ralston, who I would agree, I thought he was actually playing well, and he was dealing with everything that had been thrown at him defensively. It's really unfortunate. I looked at it again. Do you know, it's one of those free kicks, probably in Scotland, or had it been for Scotland, it would have gone the other way, and it would have deemed as the attacker initiating contact, because that's the type of luck that Scotland kind of have just now, similar to the Armstrong one at the Euros. But it is what it is. Top level football, you'll get punished if you don't take your chances at the opposite end. Lyndon Dykes, it's a massive chance. The goal is absolutely shouting the net is desperate for it to be burst. He misses it. Poland got up the other end. They capitalise on a lapse in concentration for Alston. You're 2-0 down. But for me, Scotland can still get something out of the game, because I've seen enough from them in that first half performance with regards to the press. I think Dykes, albeit he's missed that chance, I thought he's looked sharp. I think he's press in terms of his work rate, working back the way as well. He's linked the game really well. I think Scott McTominay has proven why we see him as a top midfielder in this team, because certainly in that final third of the pitch he's looked a real handful, a real threat. Gilmour looks good in there. Kenny McLean probably the one that I'm a bit unsure about just now. So do you roll the dice? Do you take off Kenny McLean, possibly put in Ryan Galls, get a wee bit more creativity in the middle of the pitch, another forward thinking player that can give you that opportunity? But we know Steve Clarke, he doesn't make too many changes, so I reckon we'll probably be looking at the 60-minute mark before we see anything really happening.
Yeah, just having a look out there now, Tom, I don't see any changes happening. We're still waiting for Poland to go out. The Scotland players are out. Willie, you said you've been in this position before many times. You go in, you feel a bit hard done by. How do you dig yourself out of this?
You've still got to have belief, and I think they can take a lot of belief out of the first half performance. And you've just got to, go out and do the same. I'm sure that Steve Clarke saying to them that the performance has been good, but the opposition have been ruthless. Listen, the opposition haven't been good. It's not a good Polish side. I don't understand what they're trying to do with the goalkeeper and the two centre backs, because I don't think they've ever built anything up from it, and they've tried at least a dozen times. When Scotland know what they're going to try to do, and they're up and they're pressed and they're winning the ball back early. But as far as Scotland's concerned, what they've got to do in the second half is have that belief, have the same game plan, and the difference in the second half is if they get the opportunity is to take them. We aren't ruthless enough. We know that we don't have enough goal scorers in our squad. And certainly we're not ruthless in front of goal. So if that can improve, I think the general performance has been good in the first half. I think Steve Clarke will take a lot out of it, and he'll be asking for more of the same in the second.
Well, let's hope we can get some goals here at Hampden Park. Let's get back to our commentary team: Leanne Crichton, Stephen Thompson, Willie Miller and Liam McLeod.
It's the 12th time these two have gone head to head. Poland have won 3 to Scotland's 2, the other 6 drawn. Scotland yet to beat Poland competitively, and the way it's going tonight, they're going to have to wait until Warsaw in November to get another chance to do so. They've got 45 minutes to try and sort it out. Poland get the second half underway, going left to right in the red and white. Scotland in the navy blue with yellow and white flashes. No changes for the Scots. There has been one for Poland, but it's Scotland attacking immediately here. Dykes plays it across, and it's going to be knocked away. The man has just come on. We'll get to that in a moment. Gilmour shoots and scores! What a start to the second half that is! Billy Gilmour rifles the ball home. It's gone through the goalkeeper, but the referee stands there and waits for confirmation of it. Was the flag up? Gilmour smashes it home. He's only scored 2 goals in his career. That's the second. They've both come in Scotland colours. Scotland 1, Poland 2.
Well, I mean, you talk about trying to have a positive start to the second half. It's unbelievably positive. So good from Scotland. A brilliant reverse pass from Billy Gilmour. Round the corner from McTominay. McGinn lays in. Dykes, who flashes it across. It's cleared. John McGinn keeps it alive.
Leanne's worried Dykes is offside here.
Aye, well, I thought he'd looked on, but
just the official on the far side, the assistant referee just doesn't look convinced. Certainly didn't make his way back to the halfway line with any sort of urgency.
He was hanging around the edge of the box, wasn't he? Gilmour wheeled away in celebration. The referee wasn't quite so sure though. Listening to the Dutch video assistant, Scotland have already had 1 goal ruled out after a VAR check tonight, but this one stands.
I thought he looked on.
They're right back in it now all of a sudden. Billy Gilmour scores in the opening minute of the second half, and they have half the deficit.
Well, that's the response. That's exactly the response you were after. Just listen to the atmosphere in here as well. The fans are on side. The belief's back again. Whatever was said in the dressing room at half time, it certainly worked, because just the pattern of play, the build up and the urgency, the bodies going forward, it was all there from Scotland, and the support play from Gilmour to be there, right place, right time, get it on target, and you get your side back in the game.
They brought on Sebastian Balakiewicz at half time. He plays for Torino in Italy, where Che Adams moved. They both moved to the Turin club this summer, and he's replaced Arsenal's Kivior, who looked like a player who hasn't been played too much this season. In fact, he hasn't been played in the senior Arsenal team yet this season, having been a regular last term. So Poland made the change. Billy Gilmour, his only other senior goal came against France in that friendly in Lille last October. So that will mean so much to him. His first goal in senior football in his own country is Billy Gilmour. Gets it again, works it wide right. Here's McTominay stretching his legs. He's into the box, wasn't a great touch, and he wins the corner. The touch kind of let him down there. He'd three waiting in the middle. The consolation prize is a Scotland corner. And the Poles look rattled.
They don't have. What a start to the second half. And you know, at 2-0, the third goal in the game is always vital. But to get it so early on in this second half, and with the crowd now absolutely behind us and Scotland looking confident, all of a sudden you're thinking to yourself, we can do this.
Scotland corner, McGinn to take in swinger. Left foot, it's poor though. It's swept up high into the air and it goes over the reverse side and behind for a goal kick. So that just kind of stymies things a little bit. It's not ideal because it does just takes the atmosphere down a little notch or two there. McGinn's got a little bit too excited there, I think.
Yeah, he has. I think, look, the start to the second half also shows me the belief that the players have in themselves tonight up against this Polish side. That there's a belief that they're getting 2-0 down and they were hard done by, which we know they were hard done by, but that's the reality when you don't take your chances. But it's been a wonderful start to the half and you just hope that Scotland can keep this up.
Yeah, Billy Gilmour, we would imagine, will be a mainstay of this team for the next decade. Fabulous player, doesn't score often, but he's given Scotland half a chance here now, all of a sudden. But here come the Poles down the left-hand side. Zalewski driving up to the left angle of the Scotland box. Rolls it back infield for Urbanski. Under pressure from McLean. Back to Zalewski. Low ball across. Cut out again there by Scotland. It was McLean in the road again. And Poland have to start over on this right-hand side. And it's Balikiewicz down this right-hand flank. And Robertson gets onto his ball down the line. And gets it forward to Christie. Gets it back to Robertson. It's a touch and his pass bounces back off Balikiewicz and out for a throw-in on this near side to the home team. So 2-1 and Scotland can reset and try and find an equaliser now because they've effectively wiped out that Lewandowski penalty in the Stoke at half-time. There's Grant Hanley picking it up the centre with his defence there in his 54th cap. He made his debut back in 2011. He had a long period out of the team. Here is McLean, short ball to Dykes, misunderstanding of McTominay. He gives it away and gives it straight there to Biontech. And out on the far side, Poland pick up, running into trouble in the shape of McTominay. Zalewski rolled back into the Poland penalty area there, mopping it around. The Scotland supporters are getting excited there as they see the press from their team, but Poland have played it out expertly well there, you'd have to say. Balikiewicz out to this right-hand side, a chance for Szymanski, the first Polish goal scorer. Goes out to Balikiewicz, rolls it to the edge of the box for Lewandowski. He's at the edge of the area and he drags the shot with the right foot well wide of the left-hand post. And on almost 51 minutes, Scotland 1, Poland 2.
One of the rare occasions that Poland have managed to break the Scottish press. Scotland were locked on, but they actually popped it, and it's one-touch passing that'll get you out of that press. They did it really well, broke down the right-hand side. It comes to Lewandowski, he's about 25, 24 yards out. I don't think the shot was on. He had a better option out to his left, but who are you to tell Lewandowski what he should be doing? He takes the shot and just drags it.
Poland kicking the ball away after the whistle had gone to give Scotland a free kick right of the centre circle, and the yellow card comes out, and it's Zalewski. I think you got the yellow there. Willie Miller watching this one, and last time we heard from you, Willie, it was, though you were quite happy with the performance, obviously quite downbeat about Scotland's chances of getting something out of this Nations League opener. They're back in this.
No, I don't think I was. To be perfectly honest, what I said was that they have to still have that belief. I think it was going to be difficult for them, but they came out with the belief. I think Steve Clarke obviously has been in their ear at half time and persuading them that the first half performance was good, even although there were two goals down in that first half. But it's a sensational start to the second half. It's full of everything that was good in the first half. Only on this occasion they've managed to get the ball in the back of the net, and it's definitely game on.
52 minutes played. It's Scotland on the ball on the far side. Poland had a throw, they've given it away. McTominay trying to get onto it. It's Polish boot gets onto it first, but Christie gets onto the scraps and he's midway inside the Poland half, but he runs into trouble and Poland emerge with the ball with Urbanski. The pass forward's gone straight to Hanley, but he's under serious pressure here, and that will be a free kick given against Grant Hanley as he brings Piontek crashing to the ground. And I mean, he's never been the paciest, Hanley, when he's got the ball. His probably best interest are to just get rid of it, but he ran into trouble there and he gives away the free kick.
Yeah, it's a foul, a clear foul, but it's not in too dangerous an area. Poland just going back into their own half with the ball anyway, and Scotland set up, so there's nothing to be too worried about.
Scotland actually coming into this campaign have one of the best records in the Nations League as far as winning percentages are concerned, whereas Poland have really struggled. They've only won 4 Nations League games coming into this one, the 3 editions previous, as they come forward now. Down the left, roll to Lewandowski, in the box, back to Urbanski. Poland threatening here. Willie with the cross into the box is headed out to this near side, and it's come off a Polish head, I think, and out for a goal kick here to Scotland. Scotland 1, Poland 2.
The game's opened up. You know, in the first half, Poland didn't look that dangerous, but as Scotland have now got themselves back in the game and they're trying to go forward at every opportunity, Poland will find wee gaps, and they have got quality players, and that's something we're going to have to be wary of.
It's in the midfield here with Zielinski. He knocks it forward to Lewandowski. Piontek ahead of him on the left-hand side. Piontek has it. He's got a couple waiting in the middle here. It's rolled back to the edge of the box for Urbanski. His efforts charged down. A flurry of Polish attacking here. Scotland get it away. McKenna, and he's found Robertson brilliantly down the left. Loads of the pitch in front of him, and he is driving forward. Robertson 3 ahead of him, rolls it towards McTominay, takes a touch left hand side of the box. The momentum's gone from the attack just now, but McTominay knocks it back to Gilmour, and now McTominay again, the Napoli club mates now, of course, as Ralston picks up and fires it to McLean. Out wide left for Christie, left angle of the box, drops the shoulder onto the right, and he uses the outside of the boot for Robertson. Too much pace on it, and they go straight through to the goalkeeper Bulka, who holds on. Scotland 1, Poland 2, almost in 55.
Yeah, overall it's good build-up play from Scotland, certainly good numbers in terms of that counter-attack, using the ball, not forcing it. Just that final bit there, Christie, and it probably shows you the downside to not having an out-and-out winger, because Christie's coming in the pitch. He then looks to try and find Robertson, who's facing him. I think the better option is you get to the byline and you fizz it across the 6 where there's a lot of bodies, a lot of congestion. Poland are defending really deep. If anything, it goes in off a defender. I just think at times we're trying to overcook it.
Kind of only wingers that you've seen as the Scotland team in recent years, James Forrest, Ryan Fraser. You don't really see it too often. They compensate with obviously Robertson and Hickey when he's available, Patterson maybe as well, as the flag goes up against Poland down on this near side. That's how he gets round it. But obviously Ryan Fraser's been out of favour for a while. His international days quite possibly gone, despite a decent season at Southampton last time around. It is something they don't have. I know Ben Doak's in the squad, but maybe not his time quite yet.
No, and that's where I think it's so wasteful when you get into those areas and you've got the likes of McTominay certainly arriving from midfield, you've got John McGinn arriving, you've got the opposite side in terms of Tony Ralston supporting the play as well. You need an end product, and I just think there's more times than not we miss out on that opportunity.
McGinn wanted a free kick, he's not getting it. Lewandowski rolls it there to Szymanski, out to the left hand side. Zalewski up against Ralston, he gets the chip ball across the back post. Gunn was a little bit caught in no man's land there, relieved to see Robertson put it behind for a corner behind them.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, the game has opened up and Poland are starting to find spaces, and they're looking far more dangerous, ironically, at 2-1 now than they did in the first half.
Zalewski's cross caused a bit of a heart flutter for Angus Gunn, and indeed for Robertson. Poland corner, and Piotr Zielinski is over it on this near side. Right-footed, out-swinging corner as they attack the east end of the stadium to our right, and it comes away by Robertson at the near post. Poor corner from Zielinski's much better than that normally. The Polish number 10, another one who's got really good experience playing at major tournaments. Poland have been to 4 of the last 6 World Cup finals. They've been to each of the last Euros. They're a qualifying machine. And it's knocked back up the line there, Valukiewicz. And in field to Bednarek, who in the second half is playing as the centre point of the back 3. having been on the right hand side in the first half. Long ball, Lewandowski gives chase, just bounces off his heel there, and it's still in Polish possession. Piontek moving it back to Zielinski, rolls it low along the grass out to this right hand side, chance to cross here, and it's held on to a gun from Przemysław Frankowski's ball, and Gunn has it and he bowls it short to McKenna. It's been a good period for Poland though, last 5 minutes, maybe more. Scotland defence been put under some real pressure. And still trail Scotland 2-1 as that's moved out to Christie on this near side. Christie's low ball, asking a bit too much of McTominay. And the defender slips, Bednarek. He's managed to slip it to Frankowski on the near side. And Poland will be able to mop it up by the looks of things. Zielinski's come all the way back into his own box, rolls it forward to Urbanski. And out to the left, they played it well. Davidovit has it here. And now Poland come down the left-hand side. Jinking run there by Zalewski. He's found Lewandowski at the edge of the box. Chance to shoot here. Oh, that's so close. Wonderful effort from Sebastian Szymanski, who scored a terrific opening goal for Poland tonight in the first half. He just bent that one the wrong side of the top left-hand corner of the goal frame, and it stays Scotland 1, Poland 2. What a goal that would have been had that found the net.
I mean, it looks from where we are as if it's inches away. It was laid off to him by Lewandowski. He sets himself, takes a touch, and on that left foot, we saw in the first half how dangerous it can be. Goes for the top right hand corner, and honestly it has to be just inches at best.
I've just seen a replay of it. It is not far at all. Scotland pretty close there too, going 2 behind again. Poland have stepped it up just these last, as I say, 5, maybe even 10 minutes. Billy Gilmore's goal in the opening minute of the second half has given Scotland an opportunity to take something from this Nations League A opener. But they've been up against it in the last few minutes. Poland have it midway inside their own half. McTominay fouling Urbanski, and that'll be a free kick to Poland almost at the midway point of their own half, right of centre. It'll be interesting to see how long Steve Clarke waits to make changes. Leanne thought around about the hour mark is when he'd perhaps look at that. Maybe that was on the assumption they were still a couple behind.
Yeah, maybe give it another 5 or so minutes. Certainly the 5 substitutes are out there keeping themselves ticking over just now, and there's probably not an awful lot wrong. I think the fact that Poland are certainly giving as good as they're getting just now would probably just keep you a little bit in limbo if you're Steve Clarke, just to see if Scotland can go and sneak an equaliser perhaps, and then you can look to freshen things up, or hope that Poland just lose a little bit of the momentum that they seem to have gathered as well.
Poland have it with Lewandowski, coming forward with menace. 36 years of age now. He's going to get back onto the back heel down the left. Lewandowski changing pace but running out of pitch. He pulled it back. Piontek knocked it home. The ball was over the byline, and that will be a goal kick to Scotland. I mean, Scotland 1, Poland 2, almost on 61 minutes. The Poles currently ranked 28th by FIFA, down 2 places after the Euros. They were ranked as high as 5th in the world as recently as 2017, not long after Scotland got a couple of 2-2 draws against them. The campaign to reach France 2016. A side that's been in the top 30 of the FIFA World Rankings for a while now, and they have it on the left-hand side here, and an opportunity to cross potentially here for Zalewski. Rolls it back the way instead. It's moved into the midfield for Zielinski. Zielinski fires it forward to the edge of the Scotland box. Ralston with an intervention, Hanley as well, but still they emerge with it. Poland looking to capitalise on their superiority right now. The chip ball in too high for Lewandowski. Bouncing at the edge of the Scotland box. Christie can't get onto it. Zielinski has it on the spin. They'll roll it low out to this near side for Frankowski. Back to Zielinski, to Urbanski, to Zielinski. Scotland trying to win it back. They do through McLeod. There was a loose ball from Zielinski there, and it ends up back at the feet of Angus Gunn on his 6-yard line, where he chips it forward with the right foot. The header won in the air, but illegally so, says the referee, Davidovit, and that will be a free kick to Scotland over on the right hand side. Just alleviate some of the pressure that defence has been coming under in the last 10 minutes or so.
It's been Poland's best spell of the game, without a shadow of a doubt. A lot more of the ball, they're looking a lot more composed, and when they get it, they're looking more of a threat. It's almost like the Scotland goal woke them up a wee bit.
the press from Poland has been good in the sense now that they're going almost 6 for 6. Scotland has still got the overload if you include Angus Gunn in that, but I do think Scotland can beat it by being much more effective in using that long ball. As we've just seen, John McGinn draws the free kick a couple of times in the first half. We managed to use it as well, up to Lyndon Dykes or up to John McGinn, and then you've got numbers underneath the ball to support it. But I just feel Scotland are still trying to take too many passes in the build and putting themselves under just unnecessary pressure, because at 2-1 you cannot concede the next goal, otherwise the momentum is completely gone from the game.
Yeah, and first 5 minutes of the second half, it looked like they were threatening to incredibly find an equaliser, having been 2-0 down at the break. On the bench for Steve Clarke, Shanklin, Doig, Barron, Porteous, Suter, Doak, Morgan, Conway, Gould and Johnston, as far as outfield players are concerned. So we might be seeing a few of those at some point in the near future. 63 on the clock, Poland leading 2-1. It's with McKenna, short ball to the left for Robertson, midway inside his own half up to halfway for Christie, trying to hold off Valikiewicz, rolls it back there to Robertson. The ref's eventually and belatedly giving Christie a free kick on this near side. Christie takes it, rolls it back to the left to Robertson, and out to Christie on this near side. Side foot ball to Robertson, and he finds Hanley into that right hand side for Gilmore, the Scotland goal scorer. Infield to McGinn, sweeps it into the centre circle for McTominay. Robertson's on his bike to his left. McTominay, it's opened up beautifully for Scott McTominay. He comes forward, can't resist the shot, doesn't catch it as he would have liked. It's on target, and it's a daisy cutter right through to Martin Golka, who holds on, and it stays Scotland 1, Poland 2.
McTominay's been a lot better at this tonight, driving with the ball. I felt as though the Robertson overlap was on to the left, but then it opened up and he was driving towards goal, probably a good 25 yards out. He's probably got every right to take it on, but far from his cleanest strike.
Hanley under pressure from Lewandowski up the other end, rolls it back to his goalkeeper. Gunn finds Ralston, back to Gunn, and the pressure from Piontek, he's managed to work it back to Tony Ralston, who's waiting way too long. He's going to get the whistle to bail him out. Free kick there, 2 Poles swarming around him, just do not have that length of time on the ball, and it will be a Scotland free kick at the right angle of their own box.
That's what I'm saying, Liam, just taking too much time in our own defensive third now, and this is where maybe Steve Clarke needs to look at it. If Lyndon Dykes, if he's given everything that he's got in terms of being that outlet, Lauren Shanklin can do the exact same thing. He'll drop into pockets of space between the forwards and the midfield area for Scotland. He'll link the game, he'll alleviate pressure. You might need to look just to try and freshen things up, because you don't want Scotland just to make an unforced error just now and then the game's gone.
It's 2-1 to Poland here. It's 2-1 to Portugal against Croatia. Diogo Dalot has scored at both ends. Croatia scoring just before the break to bring it back to 2-1. Here comes Scotland with Christie, rolls it to Gilmore at the edge of the Poland box. His ball in is easily cleared in the end by Valikiewicz. Scotland have it back wide on the right. Ralston's ball in, was missed there by Brankowski. Will break to Christie, left hand side of the Poland box. Little dink balls, too high for Lyndon Dykes though. Quality needs to be better than that, and it will be Zalewski to take it on the left hand side. Rolls it out of play, and it's come off a Scotland boot last and out for a Poland throw over on that far side. Christie has found himself in a really good position there. 3 of them round about the 6 yard line. He missed all of them, and it stays Scotland 1, Poland 2.
We do have attacking players on the bench, we do have pace on the bench, goal scorers on the bench. With kind of fast approach and 20 odd minutes left, I'd like to see us make a change. I know we started the half very well, but since then we've not really looked as much of a threat. There's a wee bit of tempo dropped out of the game as well. I just feel as though a couple of subs in the top end of the pitch or into midfield would give us a wee bit of impetus again.
So Steve Clarke and John Carver in conversation down there. Poland play on down the right, midway inside Scottish territory, picked up by Frankowski, gets it back immediately there from Valikiewicz, who's looked pretty good since coming on at the break, the big number 4. A couple of players being summoned by Steve Clarke. I think Shanklin's one of them, is Gould another. There might be 3 players coming on shortly.
Ben Doak possibly.
Yeah, it is. And that'll be something the Tartan Army will be pleased about. But here come Poland looking to score a third. The cross is cut out there. It will be a corner. It was Zalewski, blocked by Ralston. And Scotland have a corner. You would imagine they'll wait until after this before making the changes, but positive changes appear to be afoot from Steve Clarke.
Let's just make sure we defend this corner properly then, because there's nothing worse when you look to your bench and you don't get a chance to make the change.
Well, the subs are all going back they're all going back into the big yawning technical area for drop off the vests and the tracky tops. But it will be Shankland, Gold and Doak. In comes the Poland corners, a header which has come bouncing off the head there of Piontek, went away from goal out to this near side. The ref blows the whistle and Scotland have a free kick from that corner. So we're in the final quarter of this Nations League opener. Scotland trailing Poland by 2-1. The changes will be coming shortly, and they are positive ones, Stephen.
They are 100%, Liam. I think Ben Doak will excite the Scotland fans. He'll be absolutely buzzing to come on here at Hampden, and you'd expect him to go and try and show the talents that he's got. For Gold as well, it's a platform for him to show and say, look, you've not picked me all these years, here's what I can do. And Lawrence Shankland, we know what he can do. Lyndon Dykes has tired slightly in this second half.
John McGinn's asked him to chase a long ball down this left hand side. Scotland look for an equaliser. He shows too much of it though. Valikiewicz gets it away. Scotland win it back quickly. Here's Robertson on the left hand side, pokes it out to the touchline for Gilmore, level with the 18-yard line. Back to Robertson, controls with the undersole, drives forward, left foot ball in, is cleared, wasn't his best. He's going to get a throw in on this near side. Blowing. I think he wants the subs to happen now, the Swedish referee. I'm sure Steve Clarke wants it to happen now. He's asking where the subs are. It's rolled all the way back into the Scotland half to McKenna. It goes back to Gunn. Scotland have just over 20 minutes left to try and salvage something out of this. Here's McTominay collecting on this near side. Knocked back to McLean. The three subs are ready now. McLean back into his own half for McKenna, and he squares it to Hanley. Hanley out to that right hand side for Ralston, and then back to Hanley. Switches the play out to this left hand side for Robertson, and then infield to McLean. Out wide left for McTominay. Robertson on the underlap. McTominay crosses in. What a ball! The header back across the face of goal is knocked half clear there by Bednarek. It's a wonderful ball in by Scott McTominay, and Lyndon Dykes, I think it was, at the back post trying to get on the end of it. He tried and tried, but he couldn't get anything on it really. Came off his marker back into the Polish 6-yard box and away to safety in the end. Here come the changes. Shankland will replace Dykes. Yet to score this season, Lawrence Shankland, after the season of his life last time around. Ryan Gold is coming on, and as is Ben Doak. It will be Doak for McLean, and Ryan Gold is going to come on as well. So a Scotland international debut for 18-year-old Ben Doak, who hasn't played since starting for Liverpool in Europe last December against Union Saint-Gilloise. And Ryan Christie comes off, and Ryan Gold of Vancouver Whitecaps comes on, having lit up Scottish football 11 years ago. He's been in the squad, but it was a decade back. And Poland are going to make at least two changes for themselves here. By the looks of things, Lewandowski's coming off. Given what he can do, that's a good thing from a Scotland point of view. And he is being replaced by Adam Buksha of Midtjylland in Denmark. And the other player coming on down there, we'll get to that in just a moment. Poland, as they look to try and take control of this match again, and it has been a challenge for Scotland since they got that goal back. And off is coming the number 21, Zalewski, and Piotrowski is going to come on as well. So changes all round for both managers. And Piotrowski of Salzburg in Austria comes on as a big defender. He replaces Piontek. So I think you can see there Scotland chasing something out of the game, Poland trying to shore things up.
It's as positive as I could feel just now with the changes that Scotland have made, it's exactly the players that you would want to see coming onto the pitch. And dare I say that Poland's substitute kind of feels the way it felt against Norway when they took Haaland off and they thought the game was done. That they take the big hitter off and look to try and shore things up. At times it can be the worst possible case that you just try and then sit off the game and control it a little bit more. Scotland have thrown 3 players on now, fresh legs, good energy, all attacking players, all with different qualities as well, I think, to the players that have left the pitch. So let's see what they can offer.
Shanklin on for cap number 15, the other 2 making their debuts. And the ref is coming over here. I'm not sure.
That's his earpiece, I think.
Yeah. Well, you never know now, do you, when you see the ref jogging over to this near side. Previously the monitor for UEFA games here has been over on the north stand side. But anyway, there's obviously some kind of problem with his kit.
He's lost contact with the VAR officials, I would say, is a good bet. Looks like they're going to change a battery pack or something.
Let's chat to Willie Miller, shall we?
Yeah, why not?
We certainly can, yeah.
I always love to go to Willie. How are you reading the last, what have we got, 16 and a half minutes of this game?
Well, I think Poland have been much better in the second half, haven't they? They have adopted that high press, and we've struggled to break through it. But the last 5-10 minutes or so, I think we've began to get back into the game. I was worried a little bit, before that, because of the quality that Poland have, particularly in the wide areas, and some of the ball that they had running at our defenders. But I think we've gained control again. I think that they've come out in the second half, really with that intent and that belief that they needed, got themselves back into the game. But Poland turned it round. I thought Poland have been pretty good. I didn't give them much of a write-up in terms of the first half performance, but I think they've been much better in the second. Let's hope that the changes have made just to try to hold on to this lead backfires on them.
Gold with his first touch as a Scotland player with a header to the edge of the Poland box, but it's easily mopped up there by Bednarek. And Gold, he's 11 goals and 11 assists this season in the MLS. Play a calendar year campaign. Ben Doak on loan at Middlesbrough now, yet to make his debut for the Championship club, on loan from Liverpool. And there's his Liverpool teammate Robertson, fired into the midfield. Gilmore back out to Robertson on the near side. Here's Gold. Plenty in the Tartan Army have been desperate for him to get a call up in recent times. Here Robertson, infield to Gilmore. First time ball looking for Gold is cut out there by Szymanski. And Poland have it back in the midfield here. Scotland ransack it though, and Gilmore has it. Now it's McTominay. Doak to the right, that's where it goes. Then Doak at the right angle of the box, level with the penalty spot. Little ball to Ralston, fires it back, and McTominay scores! Scotland back from the dead here! And now he has got his 10th international goal! Scotland have come from 2 goals down. Ben Doak immediately involved. Ralston pulls it back, and Scott McTominay siphons the ball home into the bottom left corner. Now it's started officially, this campaign. Scotland 2, Poland 2, and we're back to where we started.
This is one of these games, I'm looking at it, I almost feel negative before I can even think positively. I thought Ralston was offside, but Poland are so deep, they're inside their own 6-yard defending. It's brilliant support play, superb from Scotland. Scott McTominay, right area, slots it home. Scotland are back in the game.
He does that so well, Scott McTominay, arriving into the box. His timing's impeccable, it really is. Ben Doak doing really well, but you've got to give Anthony Ralston an awful lot of credit for the overlapping run, and picked out by Doak. The cutback's inched perfect and brilliant from McTominay.
I almost felt for a second I wanted to criticise the run of Ralston, because I'm looking at Doak and I'm thinking just leave him on his own, just leave him in a 1v1, but the run was brilliant, the timing was perfect.
It's a brilliant goal, really good goal.
Brilliant team goal.
Doak involved immediately. Scott McTominay trying to whip up the Scotland fans with his arms outstretched. They are waving them around, frantically looking for more support. 2 apiece at Hampden. It's quite incredible. Is this the fire being lit amongst this squad again? It's been doused for 12 months. As McGinn fires it high out to this near side, he can't find Gold though, and out for a throw-in. And now they've taken off Lewandowski and Piontek up front. Poland, they were trying to see it out. That lasted about 2 minutes.
Which that is where you're at in the game, though, when you look to try and be too tactical and you overthink it. In Poland, as we spoke about, 2-0 is a good, comfortable scoreline if you can go and get the third goal and you can kill the game. They didn't manage to do that. Scotland were always going to rally. We spoke about the players on the bench that could offer you something in the second half. Steve Clarke certainly looked at them, and it's worked for Scotland.
Yeah, it's paid immediate dividends. And now Scotland are looking at the closing, just over 12 minutes of the 90, and potentially going on to win this game. Robertson with a header, and it's going to be a handball there against Frankowski on this near side. Scotland free kick level with the edge of the centre circle in their own half on this main stand. South stand, left side for the home team. Roll back, McKenna finds Hanley, and he goes back to Gunn. It's a home game up against potentially the weaker of the other three in this section, with Portugal and Croatia to come. Do you stick or twist? Do you keep the pedal down? Do you go for the victory at this point? You would have to say they do. Here is McGinn. Lovely little turn by John McGinn. It's trademark stuff, and he's found McTominay, who is driving forward up to the edge of the area again. McTominay just got away from him. Breaks Doak's way though, and then he gets caught in two minds.
He's got to lay Doak in. He's got to lay Doak in. He had 3 looks at it and didn't do it.
Scotland play on. It's swept out to this left-hand side for Ryan Gauld. Rolls it back to Robertson, takes a swing at it, comes off the defender up into the air, and the goalkeeper holds on. Scotland at 2 down. Ben Doak was one of them. I'm not sure who it is he's collided into over
Tony
there.
Ralston, I think it is, Liam. Tony Ralston.
Former Celtic teammates, those two. And they're both poleaxed over there. That was a brilliant run by McTominay, but for some reason he just didn't make the decision to slip it in.
He's got to release it
100%.
I mean, look, if it comes off and he drops the shoulder and he manages to get beyond, get his shot off, it's a completely different story. But Doak, he's done really well. He's held his line, he's kept himself onside, he's held his width. The pass is there to be made. It's a poor decision from Scott McTominay.
I think they're both just winded. They absolutely smashed into each other, round about kind of chest height. Both of them are kind of round about the hip more, and Ralston chest of Doak.
Let's hope they're okay.
Yeah.
The referee's having to get more work done to his kit. And Willie Miller, well, what a final 10 minutes we could have here now.
Yeah, it's set up for it, isn't it? You know, the changes that Poland made were negative changes. Changes Scotland made were very, very positive, and you reap the benefit from these changes. And I think, Steve Clarke will be more than delighted. I think with the whole performance, the performance throughout of this game, I think, has been pretty high level. Obviously disappointed at half-time with a 2-goal deficit, but being able to turn it round, showing the character that this team has, the energy that they have. Yeah, they've been out it a little bit in the second half, but they've come roaring through with a lot of belief, a lot of skill, a lot of ability, good football as well, and a couple of very good goals too. So, everything's looking good. 10 minutes to go. It's there for the winning.
Ben Doak is back on. It looks like Ralston's okay as well. Poland are going to make another couple of changes here, and they're going to bring on Jakub Moder of Brighton, former teammate now, Billy Gilmore. And Atlanta United's Bartosz Śliż will be coming on as well. Doak's okay. He looks a little bit dazed and confused. Looks like he's going to be all right. Zielinski's coming off.
Lewis Morgan coming on here as well for Scotland. Another change up top.
Yeah, they're going to be making that momentarily. And Poland have made the 2 changes there. In fact, there you go. Lewis Morgan on for Gilmore. And the other player to come off for the Poles was their first goal scorer of the night, Sebastian Szymanski of Fenerbahce. And Śliż will come on. Gilmore comes off, having notched tonight.
Yeah, McTominay will just go back into the 2 sitting midfielders with him again. Gauld in the hole, Doak to the right, and Lewis Morgan on the left. We've got real pace in the wide areas. Let's see them get the ball.
All hands to the pump now for the final 8 of the 90. There will be substantial stoppage time, I would have thought, as well. Even the referee will have added to that because of his VAR kit. It remains 2-1 Portugal in the deluge in Lisbon. Dalot and Ronaldo, them 2-0 up. Dalot scored an OG just before the break. Portugal 2, Croatia 1 in the other game in League A Group 1. Scotland 2, Poland 2 here. 2-2 and 2-0 down. Of course, the last two competitive meetings between these two saw the 4 goals shared here and in Warsaw. McKenna heads back to gun. Just wonder how Poland deal with the closing stages of this game now. All their superstars that they've got left have come off. Piontek, Lewandowski, Zielinski. Let's roll back to McKenna, who finds Hanley. Side put ball out to Ralston on the far side. Now infield to McTominay, to Doak. Lovely touch. McTominay's onto it, and he's clean right out there. There'll be a yellow card coming as well. I don't think Lees has just come on. Can have any complaints about that. McTominay was galloping forward as he loves to do. Lovely little touch by Ben Doak to lay it off back to him.
The difference between McTominay in this match and the Euros is stark. He has been back to his best in terms of running with the ball. He's a driving force, his energy, really, really impressive.
He's joined the Tartan invasion of Italy as well, hasn't he? He and Gilmour off to Napoli. The fans of that club will be interested in what they're watching tonight. Here is Lewis Morgan. It's a poor ball down the left though. He's bent it out over the line. That will be a throw into the Poles. Down here, and it's the Poland fans off to our left with their hands in the air. They've supported their team this evening, even though they were 2-0 up and they've been pegged back. There will be a throw-in, which Frankowski's going to take on the near side. And bowling it forward, it's going to be collected there by Piatkowski, but the referee, I think, has given Scotland the throw-in in the end on this near side. So it was played out onto the line. Robertson bowls it forward to Shankland. Little ball onto the chest of Gauld, who fires it back with the left foot to the right of the centre circle for Ralston. Brilliant ball by Ralston. The nodded header back by Morgan. Finds Robertson. First time ball up to the 18-yard line for Shankland. Headed half away. Lees gets it into the midfield. Sliding in to try and win it back to Morgan. Now it's McTominay. His ball forwards cut out. Scotland come again. Ralston. They feel they've got the foot in the throat here, but the referee's blown his whistle for offside. Flags up, North Stand side. We're in the final 5 minutes of the 90. Scotland 2, Poland 2 here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Can only assume that the referee's not managed to sort out his earpiece, Liam, because the assistant referee on the far side was standing for about 15 seconds with his flag up.
I didn't see an offside, to be honest, but anyway.
It was a diagonal that came through Ralston to Lewis Morgan, was offside initially. But listen, I think Poland are there for the taking just now, because a couple of just lapses in concentration, balls going out the pitch. As you say, Liam, they've lost the key players, they don't have the big hitters. I could be wrong, but I think if Scotland can just start to string the passes together again, keep the bite that they had just before we get the equaliser.
Good tenacity by Ryan Gauld. Eventually Poland emerged with it despite his best intentions, chasing down on his own there. Poland have it wide on the left hand side now, and Scotland desperately trying to win the ball back. Poland though looking to very least leave here with a draw. They've given it away, and it's now with Ben Doak driving down the right hand side. They're going to try and get himself in behind the defender. It's a wonderful run from Doak. This is exactly what this national team needs. His pace in the wide area as he's
should have crossed it.
He's run into the cul-de-sac, and Poland pick it back up, and it's dinked away there by Urbanski.
He'd done the hard bit. He'd one-on-one with the full-back, took him on, he was past him. Just play it in with your right foot. He goes for the chop back onto his left.
Really encouraging though. I mean, unless you saw some of his appearances for Liverpool, you're probably looking at clips you've seen online of Ben Doak, but the Scotland fans getting a proper look at him here tonight, and that was really encouraging. But here come Poland down the left hand side. Cross comes into the box, it's evaded everyone, and Robertson decides to put it behind for the corner. He wasn't really sure where Czesław Frankowski was, and it's going to be a Poland corner here with the final 3.5 of the 90. There could well still be another 10 minutes of this game still to play.
Yeah, there could be. That's a tired decision there from Andy Robertson. Just a lack of awareness what's going on behind him. Just to concede a corner at this stage of the game is poor, because it's probably one of Poland's best chances at going and grabbing a winner themselves.
You get greedy at this point, don't you? Because I don't think there's one Scotland fan in this stadium would have said no to a draw at half-time.
I think nobody.
Yeah, you do. You get greedy. You think Poland are there for the take and try and win the game, but the ref's having to come over here again.
He's just going to say to the managers that he can't have contact with VAR. Are they happy to continue, sort of thing? He just spoke to Andy Robertson and the captain of Poland to say the same thing.
Well, he's not used to VAR, this referee. Glenn Nyberg, as I said, Sweden have snubbed VAR, continue to snub VAR, and the ref's still down there. He's talking to Steve Clark, he was talking to Mr. Probiers as well, so it could be that there's no VAR for the closing stages of the match.
It certainly looks that way. He's going to try
He's
to
getting rid of the kit now,
gesticulate that he couldn't hear anything. Yeah.
To be fair, Steve Clark kind of looked at him as if to say, right, well, that was what used to happen, so
yeah,
he will be fine.
Yeah, well, he'll be
Thanks
disappointed that it was working in the first half. He ruled out McTominay's goal. He has got kit back on, the ref, as he makes his way into the box, and after all that, Poland have a corner on this near side, which is going to be taken to the right footed by Modar. Then it comes, and the header was well wide in the end up, and it wasn't the worst delivery in the world, and it was Piatkowski who attacked it. It was off his head, behind for the goal kick. It's 2-2, 88 on the clock at Hampden.
One last push.
Yeah. Like I said, I think there'll be 5 or 6 minutes added on at the end on top of this, maybe even more. We'll wait and see.
I would agree, Liam.
Shankland trying to hold off his man, and he heads it to Gold, who heads it out to Doak on the right hand side. Doak's a flying machine, he's onto it there, level with the penalty spot. Jinks back and passes it back to Ralston. Infield to McTominay. McTominay with the pass infield, gets it back the edge of the box, and he tries to find the bottom left, and it was wide. And gets applause from his manager and indeed from the Scotland supporters. It remains 2 apiece though here at Hampden.
It's a team effort from Scott McTominay, I would say that, but the build-up play again from Scotland, really good, intricate passing, good decision making in the far side from Ben Doak as well, because as much as his asset is pace and getting at people, I think he recognised it was a tight area and he had better options around him. But Scotland, super aggressive, good numbers inside the box as well, in and around. You can see we're chasing this winner, certainly Scotland, and the players on the pitch don't want to accept a point.
Yeah, fortune favours the brave. 90th minute, 2-2 in Glasgow. Scotland have it with McKenna, wins it back well, finds Gold, back into his own half for Ralston, and then McTominay eases it out to Robertson on this near side, gets to the legs of the defender, he's going to get back onto it here from Morgan. Early ball in by Robertson is cleared on the 6-yard line there by Bednarek. Now it's Morgan out to Robertson, level with the edge of the D of the Poland box, to the underlapping Morgan, who wins the corner. Scotland corner, and we've just got into the first of 8 minutes of stoppage time.
I like that from Lewis Morgan. At this stage of the game, when you get beyond, force Poland to defend, whatever that looks like, and he goes for the early delivery, good slip pass from Andy Robertson, good support play from Morgan himself. You draw the corner, just constantly ask questions of Poland.
And Scotland summon up the spirit of Oslo. Scotland corner. In-swinger coming up from this left-hand side. And someone in navy blue get them the end of this. And it comes from Morgan. It's headed away to the edge of the box. Gold eases it back out with the right to Morgan, his fellow MLS player. Gets the ball in deep to the back post, and it's headed away by Hanley behind for a goal kick. And it remains Scotland 2, Poland 2, as we tick into the second of the 8 minutes that were added on at the end by the Swedish referee.
First ball in's poor, second ball to the back post. Grant Hanley's up early, should come back across the goal. Tries to go for goal himself, he was never really set to get it on target. Poland, for the last 25 minutes, have been basically just playing for this draw. As soon as that second goal went in, they've been nowhere to be seen.
They tried to lock the shot up at 2-1 up, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it failed miserably, that plan. Scotland have it with Robertson, back to McKenna, and he squares it to Hanley, who rolls it out to Ralston on the far side. And actually, if Scotland do take a point, maybe even better, there'll be plenty positives all of a sudden. And there were positives at half-time, even though they were in a hole and in a rut at 2-0 down. And as Poland pick up, and it's knocked out to this near side Bednarek. He's given it straight to Robertson though. Infield to McGinn. McGinn midway inside Polish territory, rolls it out to Lewis Morgan, level with the penalty spot. Morgan onto the right now, gets the ball in towards the back post, chested down, the goalkeeper prevents the corner. There's actually really calm defending there by Zalewski, and the goalkeeper Bulka holds on to it, and it stays 2 apiece.
Yeah, he does really well, defend it well, because just before that, Poland in possession are absolutely atrocious. They cannot keep it when Scotland are going at them in those transitional moments. They're giving it away for fun. Scotland are all over them with the press.
Good challenge by Ryan Gauld there. Tell you what, Gauld and Doak have done brilliantly since coming on to this
Brought
pitch.
a lot of energy to the game just when it was required.
Gauld's at the latest time. He's 28 now. It just shows you how young he was when he was making such a big impression at Dundee United in his young days under Jackie McNamara. An excellent team. Here's Ralston, right of the centre circle. He swivels away from his man, rolls it to McGinn on the halfway line. Out to Robertson. First time ball in field. Morgan goes after it, but Lees gets onto it, and Poland have it back. And driving right hand side of the centre circle out to the overlapping Frankowski. Poland suddenly looking to win the game here. It's drifted into the box. Ralston just misjudged it, but he gets away with it because it bounces off Zalewski and behind for the goal kick, and it stays Scotland 2, Poland 2. We played almost 3.5 of the 8 minutes that were added on at the end.
Decent enough counter from Poland, but they look as though they're lacking quality and energy now when they get into our final third. They've not been there only a handful of times, really.
Going Scotland over there.
Bodies out there now.
Yeah. It's been that kind of night. Scotland, remember, 2-0 down at the break. Gilmore brought them back to 2-1 in the first minute of the second half. And Scott McTominay knocking home to make it 2 apiece. As it stands, it'll be 1 win in 13, but here come Poland down the left. Hanley's in a bit of bother here. Unfortunately for him, the chip was attempted there by Bookshot, and it goes high over the crossbar, and it stays 2 each. Hanley will be delighted to have seen Bookshot attempt that.
Definitely. I think Angus Gunn as well, he started to backpedal just when I think he realised the shot was going to come. Poorly executed though.
Poland have it in the midfield here with Motor. Actually, he's probably been their best player on the ball since coming on. With Motor. Full time in Lisbon is Portugal 2, Croatia 1. So the group favourites begin with victory. Remember, the top 2 will go into a new quarter-final round in March in the Nations League. McGinn's on it. He's had it pinched off him though. It's such cheap possession to give away. And it was Piatkowski, and now Poland come down the left-hand side. Oh no, it's Leiden. It's a penalty.
What is he doing?
Penalty. A ludicrous decision has resulted in a penalty, and Poland are going to get the chance to win it here right at the end. McGinn gave it away. It's Hanley's challenge. It's so clumsy, and Poland have a penalty right at the last knock-ins.
It's a ridiculous decision to go into that tackle from Grant Hanley. The Polish player had taken it wide. Even if he got a shot on goal, he was far too wide for it to really be causing any problems. In fact, he'd taken a touch. He was running out the pitch. Why go into this challenge? Ludicrous.
Also, Tomo, sorry for me, a professional footballer that goes with their left foot there is absolutely astonishing.
It's wild.
Go with your left foot in terms of getting your body across the player, and block that with your right foot and put it out for a throw-in.
It's another Stonewall penalty.
No doubt. I can't wait to hear what Willie Miller's got to say about this.
Well, Nikola Zalewski was the player who was brought down. He's going to take it himself. Hanley's standing there shaking his head, but he's probably just cost Scotland a point here. And an opportunity for Poland. Lewandowski converted a penalty in the first half. Yet another mistake from Scotland. And Zalewski's only got 1 international goal so far. The Roma player stands and faces Angus Gunn at the east end of Hampden, and this will win the game for Poland if it goes in. The Swedish referee making sure everyone's outside the box. Gunn waits in his line. Now comes Zalewski, and he scores. Only just. Gunn guessed correctly, but it slips away from his fingers into the side of the net, and Poland will win this game on match day 1 in Nations League A. All the hard work Scotland produced to get back from 2-0 down has gone to waste, and Poland will leave Glasgow with all 3 points, and Steve Clarke has yet more to wallow on here. Hanley has cost Scotland dear. Scotland 2, Poland 3. There's only about a minute or 2 left.
That's a sickener. It really is, Liam. everything that Scotland have ploughed into the game to get themselves back level. And it's another individual error, I would need to say, so costly for Scotland across this period of games, the run of games. 1 win in 13, just not good enough. And you cannot wait until you go 2-0 down before you start being ruthless and clinical and taking your chances. But then even at this stage, we're chasing it. As a commentary team, we're chasing 3 points. But you cannot afford yourself to take nothing from the game. And that's exactly what Scotland have afforded themselves to do. Grant Hanley, it's going to take him an awful long time, I think, to recover from this.
Yeah, ridiculous challenge by Grant Hanley. And Poland have surely won the match. There's barely any time left. McKenna gets it back to his goalkeeper. And another game that Scotland have shipped 3 goals in. It is costing them so badly these days. As Morgan picks up on this near side. Suddenly Scotland are chasing a point again. We played the 8 minutes. There will be time added on top of it because of the penalty and the goal and the celebrations, but it's gone out for a Poland throw-in over on the far side. It only looked like there was going to be one winner of this game. As soon as Scotland equalised, you would have said Scotland were the most likely to be the side that would emerge with the victory. They're going to lose this game now, though.
All 3 goals avoidable. 2 penalty kicks, 2 definite penalty kicks, no questions asked. Really, really poor. When it looked like we'd given ourselves the best platform to go and win the game. We'd done so well to get back in the game. And then throw it away.
That Chobot goal for Hungary late on at the Euros is called as a wild swing and an effort from 35 yards out. It was high over the crossbar. It was a hit and hope. We played 9 minutes, 8 were added. Steve Clarke down there. He's going to start this campaign off with a defeat. It'll be 1 win in 13. They go to Lisbon to take on Portugal next. That is one of the behemoths. No question, one of the big beasts of world football. On their own patch are next, and they've just beaten Croatia tonight. But, broad smiles on the Polish bench down there. And there is the final whistle, and Poland beat Scotland on match day 1. Scotland start this campaign with defeat, and it extends this poor run. The late Zalewski penalty, after Hanley's clumsy challenge, wipes out Scotland's good work. After Gilmour and McTominay brought them back from 2-0 down at the break. That after Szymanski and a Lewandowski penalty had put the Poles in control. But it's the age-old problem. These last 12 months have been tortuous at times for Scotland. Yes, they qualified for a European Championship within that time, but one solitary victory since Larnaca last year against one of the worst teams in the world in Gibraltar is all they've had to show for it. And the goals they concede, they are conceding in gluts. During this run, they've conceded 3 to England, 4 to France, 3 to Norway, 4 to Netherlands, 5 to Germany, 3 to Poland tonight. Spain, Georgia and Finland all managed to breach them more than once as well. That needs to be fixed if they are to make an impression in these kind of matches against this standard of opposition, because that's where they've got themselves now. All the work to get into the position where they can take on the likes of Poland, Portugal and Croatia, and it gets off to the worst possible start here. The early goal as well meant they were on the back foot from early on in the match. And it finishes here with Steve Clarke having more questions to answer about the goals this team's leaking. Scotland 2, Poland 3.
Scotland in the UEFA Nations League.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.